Oi! Oi! Oh, the second day. Oh, I see. The second day, you said. Man. The fuck are they playing? Alright, let me pull that down. Let me get myself up on the screen. And then I also have to get my chat up on the screen, because I can't see anything. I'm currently flying blind, as they say. Hey, Tron. Hey, Brandon. Got to see you guys first. What's up? What's up? What's popping? What's popping? Is anything popping? Do they make pops anymore? Is that not the thing? Hey, Jerry. Hey, Kiri. Corn Warfare 2 next. I have to get my theocratic thing open on my phone. The full run. The full run. Theocratic full run. Hey, Graham. No popcorn is indeed popping today. That's something I think we're all gonna have to get over right now. Right, let me see. Today we are playing some Sussy Rain. Some Sussy Rain. Almost at 2,000 watch hours, just need 98 more watch hours, right? For your channel? So your channel can get monetized or whatever? That's exciting. Then you can make money. Then you can make money. Wah! How you see they? Oh, for your channel. Very good. That's exciting. Then you can start monetizing and rolling in that sweet, 15 cents per video. Let me see. Did I get He Is Coming? Why is this on my thing? Oh, it's under special promotion right now. Okay. Why is it on my... I was like, why is this on my news feed? I guess they want me to play it. But alright, today we're rolling back into Suzerain. Back on our theocratic shit. I don't remember where I put my funny phone. I kind of need it for this run. Because we're doing a theocracy, if you will. Where did I put it? What the fucky? Where could it have possibly have gone in the past, like, 10 seconds? I grabbed it out of my body, and then I put it on my body. We're playing like six different soundtracks at once. Pause that. That's Doc Fink. That soundtrack is called Doc Fink. Poor bastard. Where did I put it? Did I take it to the bathroom? Did I leave it in the bathroom? My server is very dusty right now. Remind me to dust it after we're done. Or don't. I grabbed it from here and I put it over. And then I grabbed it from over here. I grabbed it from here, and then I walked this way. Where could it have gone? There's the brookie up here. I didn't drop it in the clothes pile, I don't think. But yeah, I'm eating a brownie cookie. In case you were curious. And then I sat down. It's not on my personage. What the fuck? Can one of you guys call my phone? Pockets? No, it's not my pocket. Did I eat it? Did I eat my phone? Maybe I did. I don't wanna. Fuck! Where did I put this fucking thing? There's no... How does this happen? My brain, dude. My brain. My brain. My brain, man. My brain. Obviously, we're theocrating our door. Alright, well... You guys are gonna have to listen to this for a hot second while I look for my smartphone. Sorry. Oh, found it! It turns out my brownie cookie was on top of my smartphone. I should have known. Excuse me. Use Discord on your computer to call it. That's a good idea. I don't know how I feel about this brownie cookie. It's from Whole Foods. And the Whole Foods brownies aren't really good because they're really dry. But the cookie is okay. Whole Foods has like a really dry... What's it called? A very dry, flaky brownie, which is like... How do you get a brownie flaky? Alright, let me see. We've already done all that. We haven't done any of that yet. I think we're only on our second turn. It's go crazy. Alright, I'm gonna hit the continue button. Let's see where we are. Because I don't even think we've done the Friendship Day meeting yet. So we're still early into this run. Oh, flagging. Hang on. There we go. You have to do that sometimes, or else it kills you. Well, I guess this game only wants to be windowed, which I guess is chill in its own right. But now I can't see my whole screen. Where? You like brownies? I do too. But the brownies at my work suck. Alright. I think we just did the Swordland deal. Now we have to commission statues. We also have a bunch of decrees we can do, I think. Well, not many. We already did Sovereign Transition and Clemency, I think. Expansion of the Square's gas field. I think we also already did that. We can remove the death penalty. I think the Square's gas field reconstruction. And I think we already started expanding the Square's gas field. Yeah, we already did. Hey, Hinata. How's my sanity holding up? I got off at 3 o'clock today, and that meant I can take a nap before I started stream, so... Let's see, icing that dries out at a certain level temp. Icing dries, do we have aberration of moisture? Hardened sugar, and encased the royal icing, egg whites create a solid, crisp texture. It requires exposure to air to dry properly. Why are they putting icing on their brownies, though? Is that what's happening to these brownies at Whole... Are they putting icing in the brownies at Whole Foods? They shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't put icing... Don't put icing on your brownies, folks. That's weird. What are we doing? Oh! Commission the Taurus family statues. Okay, so we are on that part. Converse with Vina at the coast in Monquis. And then... Law enforcement losing grip in districts. Sign of criminal control. That's a decision, though. I think we did the inheritance tax last time. Hang on, let me look at welfare. Yeah, I think we did impose the inheritance tax. Extensive geological survey. No, I remember doing that one too. Did we raise the income tax as well? Remove the income tax. Oh, we have to raise the base income tax. No, we don't have enough... We don't have enough authority for that, but we have to do that. Minus 2 to 5 budget per turn. Minus 4 authority per turn. And then a medium second energy sale. Medium initial global energy purchase. Medium third global energy sale. Well, I don't have enough authority overall. Maybe after the... Oh, nope, never mind. Commission statues for the entire Taurus family. That's 2 budget... Oh, there we go. There's the authority I'm looking for. The entire Taurus family. Excellent. And then with that, we want to raise the... We want to just raise the income tax in general. Raise the base income tax. The kingdom definitely raises the... Kingdom definitively raises the income tax rate from 10 to 20%, aiming to substantially bolster the national treasury. While this surge promises enhanced fiscal resources for state operations, it invariably casts a shadow on public opinion as citizens and businesses adjusted to the augmented financial burden. Alright. That's done, that's done. We have to listen to Pable fucking give me a spiel, apparently. When you ever play Battle Cat since last month? Just give it more flavor and texture. Oh, interesting. I had never thought of that. The game name is Suzerain. Hello, Zero Light. Hello, Zero. A landowner's tax. Tenant protection laws? No, never. Administrative upgrades are going really well. Mining surveys. Our economy is going to be huge this run, dude. 20% income tax goes crazy. Just a flat 20% income tax? Holy fuck, dude. Life in this country must be good. I am a different person when not exposed to Warcraft. Warcraft kind of turns me into a... I see why all the what's it called were into Warcraft. All, like, the conservative nerds were super into Warcraft. Alka Springs Leisure Club closed amid homosexual revelations. Police in Montclair conducted a raid of the so-called health retreat Alka Springs Leisure Club following a tip-off that the bathing facility was in fact a gathering place for the local homosexual community. During their unscheduled visit, several same-sex couples were indeed found to be engaging in illegal activity. They were promptly arrested and the leisure club shut down. No sodomy. No sodomy. Keep that sodomy... Send that sodomy back to fucking Swordland. Damn, dude. I can't believe we're being anti-gay this run. Azaros rebuked for conducting military exercise close to Terrador border. The governor of Terrador has issued a stern rebuke to the Azaros of Cardes Montclair after their provincial military conducted exercises near the Impale Administrative District, labeling the drills as unnecessarily provocative. Oh. The governor called for restraint and dialogue to address any interprovincial tensions. The statement emphasized the importance of peaceful coexistence and cooperation within the Kingdom of Rizia. Got him. Got their ass. Within the Kingdom of Rizia, calling Pales Rizia. Alright, let's take a look. Rizia signs pair of historic deals with Swordland. Swordland's first official diplomatic visit to Rizia in over 30 years proved a smashing success. President Ewald Alfonso and his development minister, Gus Manger, flew back home as friends of the king, having cemented a pair of historic deals between the two countries. Well, freshly freed from the tyranny of Colonel Tarquin Saul, Swordland has been eager to restore the trade relationship it enjoyed with Rizia under the reign of King Eggman. Oh, King Egg. A new trade agreement will bring delicious Swordish whiskey to our shores, while making Contuavo easier for grateful swords to access. Meanwhile, the province of Valenqueiras can expect more Swordish visitors as a resort operated by businessman Marcel Coranti is slated for construction on the Monquise coast. United Campania suppresses protests. Wait, no, I didn't look at the taxes? I didn't. Shit. In the latest communique issued by the Crown, an increase of income tax from 10 to 20% was announced. The statement mentioned that this unfortunate measure is absolutely needed to maintain the financial health of the nation, which has been under pressure lately. The palace hopes that all Rizian citizens will come together in sharing this burden as their duty to the nation, and promises to mitigate any hardships that come out of it as much as possible with targeted policies. To do our part, the next page of this newspaper puts forward measures every individual can take in order to lessen the financial burden of this tax increase on one's household. Ugh, yikes. Yikes, dude. United Campania suppresses protests in the south. UC has launched a sweeping crackdown across its southern federal socialist republics in response to escalating protests. Unofficial reports estimate over 40,000 demonstrators across Yurzistan, Zolotak, and Slovaria, and neighboring regions, with authorities accusing foreign interference of stoking unrest. The protests, sparked by a deadly incident in Slovaria, have seen the Suzerainist groups demanding religious freedoms and neo-economic Rotskyists advocating for trade reforms. Party sources indicate that dissent voiced at the recent Congress against Chairman Melyanev has added to internal discord. These regions, vital as the breadbasket of the continent, now face tightened restrictions and widespread arrests as authorities move to restore order. Most Angry Birds crossover games was removed. Oh, fuck, really, Graham? One of the first mobile games I ever played when my dad got, like, the first tablet that was ever, like, consumer ready, was, like, Angry Birds Rio. That was, like, nostalgic for me. While United Campania claims external forces are to blame, the scale of the protests and the severity of the government's response point to deeper internal rifts that are unlikely to resolve quietly. Damn. Swordland and Rizia re-established ties. Sources have indicated a thaw in Rizian-Swordish relations as a diplomatic visit to the kingdom by new Swordish President Ewald Alfonso was said to have ended in a deal being inked between the two nations. This marks a turning point for both for Swordland, which maintained few relationships with its neighbors under the rule of Colonel Saul, and for Rizia, which in recent years has been trading exclusively with Rumburg. How Queen Beatrice will react to her ally shaking hands with her kingdom's historical enemy remains to be seen. Remember the Star Wars Angry Birds games? Yeah. Yuppers. You can probably still play them, you know? But I guess, like, dual licensing like that is no longer in perpetuity. Which is really interesting. Like, is Marvel one day just gonna be like, let's remove Yoda from Soul Calibur 4? Or whichever Soul Calibur he was a part of, and then just, like, never sell it again? I guess so. That's a royal statue. Symbolizing tradition. The Monkeys port reports ship logjam. Nearly 30 container ships were caught in a logjam by the port of Monkeys yesterday, many of them transporting goods to Rumberg's port brim. Officials say this highlights the need to upgrade the facilities for faster docking and processing. Well, there are other means, indeed. Indeed. The law enforcement is losing grip on Havas. Is that a situation that I need to be making? Oh, no. Several provincial reports describe a rise in unexplained violence, sudden erosion in local control, and some uncooperative police posts. Certain low-income neighborhoods have grown difficult to enter without warning or resistance. We'll get them under control. There's no decision there, which is really funny. The Republic of Swordland has updated conditions with me. They are now friendly. Very good. How about Agnolia? Are they friendly with me? Neutral. Of course they are. Logsland, I imagine, is a little unfriendly, with an overwhelming military power, which is very funny. Kyrute is neutral with everybody on the planet. Pales? Are we frosty? We are, yeah. Lesbia, I can't imagine. It's been doing very good. Wayland is friendly, you think? Huh? Morella? Neutral? I hope Dardia is friendly to her. Unfriendly? Fuck you. Not for long. Rumberg is friendly. Rumberg is our ally, even. A conversation with Vina. You don't tread there since emulators are not so welcome in today's time? Yeah, apparently the youth. Apparently there's a section of the youth that is like running an emulator is like stealing. And it's like, well, I mean, I suppose. But like, why do you care? Yummy. Yummy cookie brownie. Yum. Dude. Plus 15 cash goes crazy. I can't imagine that that's gonna stay. And then 11 authority is also crazy. Taurus levies provincial police and Suamia support. That's very funny. Okay. What kind of brownie would I be? I'd be wet. I'd be the wettest brown. I'd be such a wet brownie. It was low tide. The waves of the Antician Sea lapped at the sands below the cliffs of Monquis. A trail was carved into the cliffside, just wide enough for a single horse. Vina picked up speed as she guided her mare, Lizzie, around a sharp curve. Faster, remember what I taught you. She glanced back at me with a grin and gave the horse a swift kick in the side with her spurred boots. Meet you at the beach. I watched her fly down the trail. She'd throw herself into the horseback riding after Lena died. We kept a few horses in Port Trezon as well, but Lizzie was her favorite. With white chocolate? Probably not. I don't think so. Not really a white chocolate guy. But if I was a brownie, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what kind of brownie I would be. I followed her at a leisurely pace, taking time to gaze back up the hill at Palace Monquis. With Herbitus Taurus governing the province of his own estate, I was free to visit my old home and its private beach anytime I liked. At the bottom of the trail was a sheltered cove where Pablin laid out a picnic lunch. I dismounted and sat down next to Vina. You really didn't have to come back to Monkeys with me, Father. I wanted to. Council meetings don't exactly count as quality time together. Deciding the fate of the country together, that screams quality time to me. My mother was right about a few things. It's not healthy to spend too long in those chambers. Keep up that enthusiasm. It will serve you well when you're older. She picked up a lobster salad sandwich from the picnic basket and nibbled at it. A solemn silence descended as we stared out at the waves. 8 years since she died. When I'm here, it might as well have been yesterday. Tell me about it. Hurts every time we come back here. But we keep doing it anyway. I can't even dip my toe in the water, or it'll all come rushing back. I looked out at sea again. Try not to think about it. Let yourself remember. Let yourself remember. The memories rushed over me. The break in the Coast Guard's voice as he told me the news, the hospital staff muttering meaningless reassurances, the beep of the ventilator as my wife slipped in and out of consciousness. If I had been on that boat, would things have gone differently? In another timeline, were there 3 of us sitting on this beach instead of 2? Tears formed at the corners of my eyes. Don't cry, don't pray, resist, pray. Pray. I muttered a prayer. My daughter didn't join me, but maintained a respectful silence. She's in a better place now, Vina, as you and I will be one day. But what happens until then? We're just supposed to keep going like nothing happened? She wiped her eyes. I mean, look at your father. 8 years and not so much as a date. Looking after you has been my #1 priority. You can't use that as an excuse for much longer. She nervously picked up a handful of sand and let it run through her fingers. So if you were to meet someone, what if you had a son? Who would be your successor when you died? I still declare you next in line. Rizia needs a queen like you, and the rules were meant to be broken. She smiled. Like Queen Liza said, the eldest sibling should inherit the throne, no matter their sex. Thank you, Father. It means a lot to know all my preparation won't be for nothing. The tide was beginning to lap at the edge of our blanket. We stood up and pulled it away from the water. Father, one more thing. Not hungry right now. I'll eat the sandwich when we get back to the palace. What? Fine. You can bring Lizzie back to Port Trezon, but you'll have to get rid of one of your other horses to make room in the stables. What? It's just, Grandmother is always on about how I need to find the right husband. How important is it to you, really, whom I marry? Don't listen to that hypocrite. Grandma followed her heart, and so should you. You're a princess, Vina. Your marriage status matters not only to me, but to the whole country. Does that mean you're planning to marry me off, like your father did to you? I'm still considering all the options. She fixed me with a stare. You and Mother were lucky to fall in love. Most such marriages are miserable. Think of it as yet another one of your royal obligations. You can always take a lover on the side. She mulled over my words for a moment. You can always take a lover on the side. I mean, when you're queen, when you're king and queen, man, you can just simply take another lover. Hello, Giovanni. Oh, Slungus! I appreciate your honesty. I do know we royals must make compromises in our personal lives. She hopped astride Lizzie. Sorry to run, but one of the countesses from my school days has invited me for tea. She's just a few estates down the beach from here. Have fun. I'm glad we're able to talk. So am I. She rode away. The trip back up to the palace felt a lot longer than the way down. It was dusk by the time I returned my horse to the stables. I staggered through the doorway of Palace Monquis. Exhausted Pable swiftly took my coat. Welcome back, Your Majesty. Where is the princess? She's too fast for her old man. She was visiting a friend, but she wanted to thank you for lunch. Monquis lobster. It's never so sweet when it's fresh out of the water. There's a warm bath waiting for you upstairs in case you're sore from the ride. You read my mind, Pable. All part of the job. I made my way to Palais Monquis's master bathroom, where an enormous clawfoot tub was filled to the brim with soapy, eucalyptus-scented water. I undressed and got it. Let's scrub the right leg. I scrubbed my right leg. The temperature was perfect. Tap came at the door, so soft I thought I was imagining it at first. Your Majesty. Yes? May I come in? I forgot to leave you a towel. All right, come in. The door slowly opened and Pable entered, a fluffy towel in his arms. He hung it on a hook on the wall. I noticed an identical towel on the hook next to it. Is there another reason you wanted to come in? He took a step closer to the tub, conscientiously keeping his eyes on the wall. Actually, there was something I wanted to bring up without any guards around. That sounds serious. It might be, or it might not be. I'm not sure. There was a small stool next to the tub. He moved over to it and sat with his back to me. No need for modesty. Well, what did you want to tell me? Pable spoke the next word slowly. Your Majesty, how much have you been told about your father's death? It was a heart attack. What else would I need to know? Not a lot. Do you suspect something? Well, this is what I know. Back when my dad was alive, he showed me every single plant in the Palace Resna Gardens. One of them was Mandroga, big green leaves, pretty purple flowers. He told me you can make an extract from its roots. A little bit helps you sleep, more than that causes delirium, and a lot stops your heart. I think I see where this is going. I know it seems preposterous, but when I attended to your father at his sickbed, he didn't seem like a man suffering from a heart failure. He was in a complete daze, as if he didn't even recognize me. After he died, I went out to the part of the garden where my father had planted the mandroga, nothing but a smooth patch of dirt. When was the last time you saw the plants? A few months before that, maybe. I remember the flowers blooming. So yes, it's possible their disappearance had nothing to do with the king's death. Who was running around the palace that night? The Queen Mother, obviously, Grand Wiseman Ignatius, Titus and his men. Lucita Azaro was also in town, meeting with your uncle to discuss the interim security counselor position. So quite the list, not including me, of course. Could someone have slipped in his supper? Pable grimaced. I was tasting all of His Majesty's food at the time, so whoever it was would have had to be very creative. If he was poisoned, the coroner would have caught it. Mandroga is a naturally occurring substance and may not have raised a flag. Alright, let's say father was indeed poisoned. What would be the motivations? We both know His Majesty had a long list of enemies, but the goal could simply have been to put you on the throne. Or I'm next. So I have a secret friend in the palace? Nobody wanted me to be king that badly. No matter what, I would urge you look out for yourself. There were only a few people King Valero trusted by the end. If my suspicions are correct, it means one of them took advantage of that trust. And all of these people are still in your inner circle today. I see. I'm gonna have to look into this further. I have to take the investigation? Yeah. Pable nodded. Thanks for bringing this to my attention. Of course, I would never hide anything from you. You and I go too far back for that. Trust me, old friend, I'll always have your back. Bimer volu. Unoxitsolu. He finished the phrase with a gentle smile, then rose from his seat. I'll take my leave before your water gets cold. See you later. He quietly exited the room, leaving me to finish my bath. You cannot investigate without gate. This is true. This is true. There is nothing to investigate if there is no gate. After a thorough soak, I dressed and headed to my study. I still had some work to go over before the trip back. Indeed. Donate money to save the Arfeld campaign in Morella. I don't have any money. What do you mean? The Arfeld campaign? Preparations are underway for the 24th annual Wezhak-Rizian Friendship Day. The City of Zeal is preparing for this year's Wezhak-Rizian Friendship Day ceremonies. Our motorcade is slated to arrive at Schmolak Square at 13:45, after which there will be speeches, as well as a special surprise that President Schmolak has yet to disclose. Later that afternoon, there will be the opportunity to discuss the impending transfer of the region. Scary. Walker plan drives economic growth in Central Maricopa, augments ATO's reach. The Walker plan, spearheaded by Arcasian President Dwight Walker, has catalyzed economic growth in Central Maricopa, benefiting nations like Agar, Montserrat, and Solemayor, by promoting market reforms and privatization. These countries have seen an expansion in consumer options and increased efficiency. Even with the strong ideological and political impact of the Arcasian dream, concerns of a rising inequality and the marginalization of smaller economies remain. The plan's focus on privatization and deregulation while stimulating competition also risks exacerbating wealth disparities and undermining local industry. The Arcasian Dream represents a vision of the socio-economic prosperity rooted in the principles of the Walker Plan and the foundations of Arcasian capitalism. Under President Dwight Walker's leadership, Arcasia experienced a sweeping economic transformation that emphasized deregulation, private enterprise, and investment-led growth. These policies led to a widespread job creation, raising wages, and elevated living standards for tens of millions of Arcasian citizens. The dream centers on the belief that in the competitive, low-regulation market system, personal initiative, innovation, and entrepreneurial freedom are the keys to social mobility and long-term prosperity. Walker's administration opened key sectors including telecommunications, transportation, education, healthcare, and even defense to private investment and competition. This shift enabled the rapid emergence of new firms, reduced costs for consumers, and diversified services across the economy. By minimizing bureaucratic barriers and incentivizing private solutions, Arcasia saw increased productivity and broader access to opportunity, particularly for the middle and lower classes. As the economy surged, the Arcasian Dream came to symbolize upward mobility, merit-driven success, and a belief that individual achievement, not state allocation, was the path to national wealth and personal fulfillment. I want to read the Walker Plan now. The fucking Walker Plan was an economic reform strategy developed by Dwight Walker in the 1940s, initially implemented in the Region Federale di Ventri, and later expanded nationally and internationally after Walker became president of Arcasia in 1947. Deeply rooted in the principles of Arcasian capitalism, the plan aimed to revitalize Mercopan economics through deregulation, privatization, and free market expansion. Central to the Walker Plan was the removal of price controls and the liberalization of capital markets. These policies were designed to increase efficiency, curb corruption, and expand consumer choice. The underlying logic emphasized reducing barriers to economic activity to encourage competition and accelerated growth. A key component of the plan was the transfer of state-owned enterprises to private ownership. This move was intended to stimulate innovation, create competitive industries, and reduce bureaucratic inefficiencies. The reforms were particularly influential in sectors such as infrastructure, telecom, transport, and energy. Beyond its domestic goals, the Walker Plan carried significant geopolitical weight. It was conceived during the early stages of the Cold War, in direct contrast to the CSP's model of centralized planning and state-directed economic expansion. As the CSP promoted state ownership and resource consolidation, the Walker Plan presented a rival vision based on open markets and individual entrepreneurship. The success of the plan not only triggered an economic resurgence in Arcasia and its allies, but also helped define the emerging concept of the Arcasian Dream. This vision of upward mobility and prosperity through merit and enterprise became a central tenet of Arcasian identity, and a hallmark of the ideological divide shaping Mercopa and beyond. God. Imagine if I just stumbled into a video along the lines of "Can Engineer beat Joseph Stalin?" That's Joey Steele, brother! That's the Texas Ten Fist versus fucking Joey Steele. Throw down! Walker Plan drives economic growth in central Mercopa, augments ATO's reach. The Walker Plan, spearheaded by Arcasia President Dwight Walker, has catalyzed— oh, no, I think I've already read that one. New parliamentary faction rumors in Rumburg— oh! Within the stately halls of Rumburg's parliament, whispers swirl of a burgeoning monarchist faction, rumored to enjoy the quiet support of Queen Beatrice herself. These speculations lend weight to the faction's growing ambitions to amplify its influence under her reign, marking the latest evolution in Rumburg's dynamic political landscape. If the rumors hold true, this faction's ascent could steer Rumburg to adopt a more assertive foreign policy, particularly in safeguarding the interests of the Grace Alliance. The implications of such a development could extend beyond Rumburg's borders, signaling a possible recalibration of international postures amongst constitutional monarchies. Save the Arfeld Coalition pleads for support. I think if I need to sell guns, I think I might be able to do that to get capital. A coalition of non-governmental organizations calling itself Save the Arfeld has called on the governments of Rizia, Lesbia, Morella, and Vogsland to acknowledge the devastation wreaked on Morella's Arfeld River, watershed by the International Trade Zone, the largest cooperative gold mining venture on the Mercopan continent. Their petition, which has been signed by over 100,000 Morellans, claims that improper waste management has led to the leaching of toxic chemicals into the river and its environs. They've gathered testimonies from local residents who speak of dwindling fish stocks, contaminated drinking water, and health complications. The coalition is demanding concentrated cleanup efforts from all four countries, as well as reparations for those affected. Fascinating. I can always do an energy sale, I think. First batch of military equipment, first batch of support vehicles. Yeah, I can always do that stuff, I think, throughout this campaign. Millennialist propaganda ban. Private audience with the Golden God. Official warn. Whoa. Officials warn potential housing crisis. Urban planning officials have warned us of the lack of affordable housing for residents of Port Trezon. They cite a lack of rent controls for landlords, as well as a shortage of available apartments for unhoused and low-income citizens as major problems. Officials also warn that if the situation continues to deteriorate, it might spread to other major cities. Revolutionary millennialist propaganda ban. Propaganda. Ignore the millennialists so we don't anger Morella or Voxland. Ignore it. Books, magazines, and pamphlets from millennialist countries such as UC, Voxland, and Gomland have been reaching our shores. These seemingly innocuous reading material have the potential to lead the spread of socialist thought amongst the populace. We don't care. The most pro-Victor Valens speech as you can during the celebration rushed towards the stands where the bomb went off. Prime Minister Alvarez warns not to underestimate millennialism. Lesbia's Prime Minister Patricio Alvarez has issued a strong warning following an increasing millennialist activity in the region. While not naming Rizia by name, the PM said that certain countries are blind to the dangers of millennialism and its propaganda. Dangerous ideas like these should not be allowed to spread. Gomland. Gomland is a key country, man. Galmus. Reykjavik. Port Zaire. I am so excited for the next country that Suzerain finally makes, man. That Torpor finally makes for this game. Alright. Private audience with the Golden God. The crisp morning air filled my lungs as I crossed the palace courtyard with Hugo. I was headed to a long overdue meeting with Titus regarding the Golden Guard, and my uncle had insisted on accompanying me. What the fuck? Accompanying me. Jesus. I'm glad you've arranged a formal meeting with Captain Gordian. There's much to be gained in fostering a robust relationship. There's substantial benefits to strengthening the ties between us. More than you know. I believe the Golden Guard possesses an untapped potential that would prove quite advantageous should the need arise. Jesus, I'm gonna die. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Captain Gordian can tell you more. Titus is all that stands between me and an assassin's bullet, and I know next to nothing about him. What I know is that there's never been a more loyal subject than Captain Titus Gordian. He lives and breathes honor and devotion. That's what worries me, no? Then I look forward to getting to know him better today. It wasn't long before we crossed the courtyard and reached the armory, which also served the Golden Guard's headquarters. As we approached, a pair of soldiers, flanked on either side of the entrance, greeted us with a formal salute. Salute back. I saluted them in return. Hugo and I continued on our way. Upon entering the armory, I found myself surrounded by a collection of old weaponry and armor on display. They polished shields and rusted swords appeared frozen in time. We eventually reached a training facility where we found Captain Gordian, in boxing gloves sparring with another Golden Guardsman. My money's on Captain Gordian. What do you say, 50 Gilder? No, my money's on Captain Gordian. You take the other man. Shh, I want to see what happens. Certainly. As the two men circled each other, we observed their careful dance before they engaged in combat. Although the other fighter managed to land a few hits, the match concluded with Captain Gordian prevailing, thanks to the powerful punch of his opponent's jaw. Applaud. I lightly applauded his win. The captain turned to face us. He and his opponent bowed their heads when they saw us. Saw me. Forgive me, Your Majesty, I didn't see you there. You're earlier than I expected. If anything, I should be the one apologizing for interrupting you. No need, but I appreciate the sentiment. I was just showing our newest recruit a thing or two in the ring. That was quite the right hook you've got there. Compliments of my old boxing days. But enough tomfoolery, I know you must be very busy. Captain Gordian removed his boxing gloves as he headed toward an entrance to another wing of the armory. Well, Your Majesty, shall we? Let's go. After you. Hugo and I caught up to Titus as he stepped inside the building. Upon entering, we were once again enveloped by an array of antiquated weaponry and armor. Titus motioned towards the displays. I brought most of this out of the storage room as after I took command. A considerable portion of what you see was in bad shape and required extensive refurbishment. I'm pleased you take such an interest in preserving Rizia's history. Quite the arsenal you've got here, Captain. Believe me, this is just a fraction of what the palace has got tucked away. If you desire, I'd be honored to provide you with the background and history of everything here. Very well. Please, by all means. Excellent. Where would you like to start? Why don't you tell me about that sword? I motioned to the broadsword prominently displayed at the center of the room. Jesus. Terrador's Fury. Its notoriety spans back several hundred years just after the Empire of Valgo seized Pales from Rizia. Although we lost our important port, we managed to keep our enemy from making further inroads into the kingdom at the Battle of Terrador. Legend has it this sword took off the head of the Valgos army's top general. A bad day for him. To put it lightly. If you would like, Your Majesty, I can have the sword polished for ceremonial use. Sure, that'd be great. Is there anything else you're curious about? Tell me about this impressive suit of armor. I pointed to an intricately adorned armored suit that stood out amongst the others. That would be the armor of King Henricus Taurus, the ancestor from whom all members of your house are descended. After securing power in Monquis, his dynasty maintained a stronghold over the city-state throughout the Marquian era. Upon the foundations of the Kingdom of Rizia, they assumed control of the entire province of Valenquiris. I'm sure His Majesty knows the history of his own house, Captain. Yes, but it's always good to refresh myself on history. What else would you like to know? Whatever that is. I gestured towards a metallic coffin-like contraption that stood upright. That would be Saint Mercy, our aptly named Iron Maiden, a torture device from a bygone era. It was last used on a suspected spies during the War of Rizian Succession. Lined with spikes on the inside, it was designed to inflict excruciating pain when closed. I can think of a few people who could benefit from such physical therapy. I'm not being serious, of course. You'll be happy to know it hasn't been used in quite some time. Hard to believe it was used at all. Not often. It was more to scare people, if anything. What else can I tell you about? Enough history. Let's move on. Very well. This way, sir. We continued onward until we reached Captain Gordian's office on the far side of the hall. It, too, was adorned with a large collection of war memorabilia. Captain Gordian gestured to a sitting area. Please, have a seat. Uncle Hugo sat on a sofa that looked to have been plucked from the 19th century. I'll sit down. I took a seat in a leather armchair close by. The captain took out a bottle of wine from a cabinet. Would you care for some fortified wine? It's an exceptional vintage dating back to 1893 from Rizia's very own Contuavo vineyards. I didn't know you were a connoisseur, Captain. I'll have a glass. Just a little bit. I've got to stay sharp for the rest of the day's activities. Of course. How's the weather? It was raining all day today. It rained really early in the morning, like a lot. People were coming into the store like super soaked. Like super soaked. They were getting hit by a super soaker. And then it stopped raining. Funny how that happens. Captain Gordian uncorked the bottle and poured us each a glass. We briefly toasted and took a sip. After putting it away, he settled in a chair across from me. So to what do I owe the pleasure of your company today? A clear understanding of the individuals comprising my security detail, particularly the man who leads them. Well, I'm more than happy to tell you about myself, though you might find hearing about the Golden Guard more interesting. Why don't you tell me more about yourself? Well, I was born and raised in Port Drizon. My father was in the military when my mother took care of me and my siblings. I had a fairly normal childhood until my father was killed during the operation to take back Pales. I'm sorry for your loss. Didn't mean to bring up bad memories. Not a problem, sir. He died fighting for what he believed in. Needless to say, his death brought about a long period of financial instability. My mother did what she could, but it wasn't enough. How'd you get by? I took up championship boxing to support us. You fared well, I assume? Good enough to catch the eye of the military recruiters. I do sometimes miss those days in the ring on occasion. I worked my way up through the ranks until just a few years ago, when General Tadea Cesaro approached me with the idea of reinstating the Golden Guard. And tell me about it. I'd be honored. As you already know, each guardsman stationed in this palace and across the Rizia Imperii has sworn an oath to protect the royal household. We answer to no one else but you. Go on. I'm forever grateful. Go on. Gladly. Aside from general security, the Golden Guard has a long history of carrying out more private matters for the king. That sounds rather ominous. How intriguing. Please elaborate. As in offensive operations, if you get my meaning. Titus hesitated a moment, casting a curious glance at Hugo as he did. Alright, I'll come out and say it. Since the founding of the Golden Guard, long before your father reinstated them, they were known to engage in espionage. They also carried out arrests and even liquidation of individuals who posed a threat to the crown. Since their return, their dealings with such matters has been limited in scope, however. The potential to broaden their flexibility is still there. Is it wrong to see such great potential in sanctioning such actions? As I said, I am at your command. Outside of less scrupulous dealings, it might also pique your interest to know that they were once tasked with serving as emergency firefighters in the event of an unruly blaze. A long time ago, yes, but it was more to do with public relations. By deploying us to assist in disaster relief, the Crown could demonstrate concern for the well-being of the local populace. You can rest assured that I won't be sending you out on any firefighting excursions. Much appreciated. Thank you for sharing, Titus. It is my pleasure. Is there anything else you'd like to know? That will be all, thank you. Is there anything else I can do for you? Don't hesitate to ask. Thanks again for your hospitality, Captain. Before long, Hugo and I left the armory and were making our way back to the palace courtyard. I think that was a very productive meeting, if I do say so myself. Agreed. Your counsel is greatly appreciated. It is my honor, Your Majesty. I look forward to providing you with further guidance. Hugo and I said our goodbyes and parted ways. I still wasn't fully sold on whether or not Titus could be trusted, but I was satisfied knowing that my influence over him remained strong. For now. They still won't let me invest in the myths. We're doing the Weshik... I guess we're skipping over the Save the Arfeld campaign in Morello. Maybe I already donated to it? Unless it's a thing. Unless it's a thing. Abolish the provincial levies! Oh my god, 15 currency next round is gonna go crazy. Okay. Thoughts on uranium? What's that fucking song? Hang on. I completely forgot what that song is. Oh, fucking uranium fever. Uranium fever has got me feeling down. Uranium fever is spreading all around. With a Geiger counter in my hand, I'm going up to claim me some government land. It's uranium fever is gone and got me down. Some shit like that. The Nelvisar oil field in Cardes Monteclar has ceased operations following the depletion of its reserves. Experts advise prioritizing the kingdom's natural gas resources to address the resulting energy gap. Authorities are now planning energy distribution to maintain economic activity. It looks like next round we're going to be investing into some energy pretty hefty. That's a golden opportunity. Rufus Gragg's royal gossip, General Carlos, gunning for love. Not reading that. That's a golden opportunity. Reports have surfaced regarding a discreet meeting between King Ramus and Captain Titus Gordian, head of the elite military unit known as the Golden Guard. Although the specifics of their conversation remain undisclosed, it's speculated that the king is deliberating on the allocation of funds for his covert security force. Known through history for their clandestine activities, the Golden Guard is one of the Crown's most valuable assets. While certain quarters perceive the group as a controversial, recent opinion polls suggest that over 53% of Rizians believe broadening their scope would greatly benefit the kingdom, both inside and outside the walls. Zoranists seek refuge in Ostioke and Nalaperna. Did I really play through the entire of Fallout? I played through the entirety of Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4. I still have not played Fallout 1, 2, Brotherhood of Steel, and I've played a little bit of 76. Not a lot, though. Maybe that'll be the MMO I finally take on. Up to over 70,000 Zoranists and anti-millennialist dissidents have fled the United Contania. seeking refuge in Ostiak and Alaperna, following intensified political measures to the southern federal republics. Fleeing increased state surveillance and detentions, many refugees recount the crackdown's impact on their communities. The migration has drawn the attention of the Alliance of Nations institutions, raising questions about the broader implications of United Catania's domestic policies. As Ostiak and Alaperna, located on the southern edge of the continent, manage the arrival of refugees, the situation reflects the ongoing challenges of political and ideological divides across the continent. God, these surveys are gonna take fucking forever, dude. Oh, it's Friendship Day! It's Friendship Day, everybody! Yay! Quite the list? Yeah, the Fallout series keeps expanding. Much rather play through the Elder Scrolls series, though. Mostly 1 through, like, 4. Or 1 through 5. I guess all the games are okay in their own right. I couldn't tell if the sky was growing darker, or if it was just the tinted windows of the armored car. Our motorcade slowed as it approached the Zeal border. A concrete barrier rose up in front of us, its top strung with barbed wire. My mother had insisted on accompanying me to the Rizian Friendship Day festivities. She leaned against the window, uncharacteristically quiet. What are you thinking about? I'm thinking you ought to have chosen a different jacket to go with those trousers. Say, might we have time for a quick detour once we reach town? Of course. She leaned forward and gave the driver an address. He nodded. At the border, we presented our identification documents and the official invitation from President Schmolak. As we crossed, the road turned uneven. Well, promise me you'll get these highways back up and running once Zil is returned. It is at the top of my list. Factory smokestacks rose up on either side of us. Through the haze, I spotted numerous shanty towns built over the past few years to house miners and refinery workers. We entered the city and drove on through a maze of tenement buildings, their facades hastily repainted to hide the damage from the war 20 years ago. As my mother had instructed him to, the driver veered down a side street that led toward the coast. We stopped in front of a small wooden building with a collapsed roof. The front porch was partly buried in sand. Jagged teeth of broken glass lined the window frames. They say you can't go home again. Rarely do they mean it. This, literally. Rarely do they mean it this literally. She blinked back tears. I can't believe this is the same place we used to go every summer. She put a hand on my shoulders. I never brought my parents here after they fled to Rizia. I knew it would break their hearts. Wish they could have seen it one last time, the way it used to be. I brought back to my carefree summers in Zeal. My grandparents had spent the last 10 years of their lives in Palace Resna, surrounded by luxury, but they never seemed as happy as they did in this house. They could have stayed, plenty of residents did. I'll fix it up one day. It'll be our summer home again. That ship has sailed, child. Just think. If I hadn't convinced Valero to get Wayland involved in our affairs, none of this would have happened. She looked down at her hands. The Weshik president back then was such an upstanding man. How could I have known he'd go and get himself killed? It was a period of instability across all of Marcopa. You were playing with fire. Would you have done any differently if Vina was in danger? We both fell silent. After a few moments, she plastered a smile on her face. Enough dallying. Driver, step on it. We got a date with a psychopath. Rizia. Exactly, Glitchtrap. Fucking Rizia. They named the damn country Rizia. We returned to the main road and drove towards Schmolak Square, a circular plaza in the center of town that had once been named after Duke Fedo Saison. A silver-stretched limousine was parked just in front of the square. Our driver stopped and we exited the car flanked by our guards. Say what you will about Schmolak, he never makes a dull entrance. A dozen uniformed soldiers hurriedly got into formation around us and the limo. The door opened and Victor Schmolak stepped out. Your Majesty, King Ramus, Queen Mother Estella. He made a sweeping, exaggerated bow and straightened up with a grin. Welcome to Wayland. Please, make yourself at home. Thank you, Mr. President. It's heartening to see that Zeal remains in good hands. Yes, this square used to be gray and boring, and now look at it. He gestured out to the square where the colorful banner reading 24 years of Weshik Rizian friendship hung above a trio of gleaming tanks. Looks impressive. Where'd you get those tanks? Rizia isn't Wayland's only friend, Your Majesty. The square was surrounded by grandstands, one side decorated in the colors of Wayland's flag and the other in Rizia's, blue, orange, and gold. I heard loud cheers emanating from them. I've invited the finest representatives from both of our countries to join us for this special occasion. Follow me, if you will. A semicircular stage was set up in front of the tanks. The crowd roared as we crossed the square and made our way over to it. Looking up into the grandstands, I noticed armed guards standing on every level. A captive audience. That would explain the enthusiasm. Maybe they're happy. They don't get many excuses for celebration. Nice idea. The crowd at my coronation sounded lackluster by comparison. My mother and I took our seats. Victor stepped up to the microphone. Wesheks, Rizians, people of Zeal. 24 years ago, the glorious country of Wayland was given custody over this land. A great honor and a tremendous responsibility. Hello, Stay. You like Suzerain? It's a good game. Wayland didn't only gain a new territory that day, we gained new friends. He gestured meaningfully towards the Rizian side of the stands. After a few seconds, they broke out in scattered applause. My mother muttered a harsh-sounding curse in Zeal dialect. What'd you just say? What'd you just say? May your testicles be stung by 1,000 jellyfish. Together, we have overcome war, repaired our economy, and made great strides in science and industry. Even the decision of the Taurus family to ally with Rumburg, a nation that obviously wishes Wayland harm, could not diminish the beautiful bond we have formed. I look forward to strengthening that bond for many, many years to come. He stepped to the side and pulled a rope attached to a flagpole. A massive Weshek flag unfurled, then a much smaller Rizian one. Would I make a friendship day? Let's have a friendship day. Ooh, look at our two countries being such good friends. Interject. Let Victor Schmo finish his speech. I sat back in my chair and kept silent. Today I am especially delighted to be blessed with the presence of Rizia's new king, as well as the Queen Mother, of course. They are heirs to a long, proud legacy, one that would have been shattered had Wayland and Rizia not made that fateful decision to work hand in hand. On that note, please give a warm welcome to King Ramus Taurus. Rise. I stood up. The Rizian side of the stands immediately erupted into loud, authentic-sounding applause. Thank you, President Schmolak. Dawning of a new era, the reign of Valera Taurus is over. May not know it, but I am the grandson of Zeal, the Queen Mother, and I have deep ties to the land. It's an honor to be here in Zeal, on the anniversary of our historic treaty. Pained me when my father signed away this beautiful part of Rizia. Chance to get a clean break with the past. We'll never forget what Wayland did for my family and my country. I know none of the Rizians here today asked for their homeland to be governed by Wayland. Oh yeah. Forget what Wayland did for my family and my country. Resume governorship of Zeal. I commend Victor Schmolak for his exemplary leadership in the face of war and terrorism. Pledge to support Rizians and Wesheks alike through an upcoming peaceful transfer of power. I know I can count on President Schmolak to do what's best for Zeal until it's back in Rizia's custody. Despite our political differences, no. Count on President of Wayland to do what's best for Zeal until it's back in Rizia's custody. All hail Wayland. Loud applause broke out from the Wesheks in the audience. Victor shot me an appraising glance, then turned back to his microphone. What a speech! The king's got charisma! We have a terrific evening of entertainment lined up, but first we must commemorate this landmark meeting of world leaders with a traditional triple tank salute. There was a rumbling from behind us as the three tanks aimed their barrels into the air. My mother and I looked at each other. Sure, after you, Mr. Schmolak. A Victor Schmolak special. Victor raised a finger up in the air. 1! The tank on the left fired, sending a plume of gold-colored smoke high on the stands. The crowd gasped in excitement. 2! The gun mounted to the tank on the right went off. This time the smoke was magenta. 3! His count was interrupted by an unidentified voice in the distance shouting, "For the king." Victor whipped his head around in shock, a frenzied look in his eyes. I turned to my mother. Mother, what happened? A deafening blast, much louder than the two that had preceded it, echoed from the opposite end of the square. I turned toward the source of the sound and saw the Weshek side of the stands engulfed in flames. Run towards the stands. Do I have to run towards the stands? Rush towards the stand. Run towards the stand. I rushed toward the stands, but... Your Majesty, get down! Titus dove at me and tackled me to the ground. Screams of fear and confusion were rising up from all around. Where's Schmolak? Ramus! My mother and Victor were still on the podium, surrounded by a thick cordon of Weshek guards. Don't worry, Mother. They'll be fine. We have to get you out of here. He and Schmolak's guards exchanged a series of hand signals. The crowd had begun fleeing in every direction. Titus grabbed my arm and swiftly started ushering me away. I took one last look back. Smoke was now rising from the Weshek grandstand. Part of the structure had collapsed, and soldiers were working to free the people trapped underneath. The next few moments were a blur as we made our way through the panicked hordes of civilians. Victor's limo pulled up and Titus roughly shoved me inside. Thank God you're safe. My mother's voice shook. She and Victor were sitting across from me, looking dazed. Are you hurt? Of course she isn't. It seemed like no Rizian was harmed. Schmolek had fire in his eyes. If your people have anything to do with this, there will be a price to pay. He kept his eyes on me as the car began pulling away. Oh, a bomb. A bomb went off. They let the bomb go off, man. They let the goddamn bomb go off. King unharmed in the Zeal bombing. Breaking news! An explosion has occurred in Zeal's Smolak Square, site of the year's Weshek Rizian Friendship Day activities. King Rams and Queen Mother Estelle, both in attendance, managed to escape unharmed. Though the cause of the blast is still unclear, this was undoubtedly a malicious act. Expect more updates in the coming days as the incident is thoroughly investigated. Will Zeal incident disrupt fragile bond between Rizia and Wayland? The shocking explosion that rocked this year's Weshek Rizian Friendship Day in Zeal could impact the region's transition back to the Rizian government, experts say. While the exact cause of the incident has not yet been determined, all signs point to an act of terrorism, and the fact that only Weshek civilians were harmed would certainly indicate Rizia's involvement. Should Weshek's President Victor Schmolak feel security in the region has been sufficiently compromised, he can invoke paragraph 37 of Article 20 of AN law to delay the handover. This would, however, anger the Rizians, who have been anticipating a timely return of the land. Although Wayland and Rizia have a history of mutual aid, the relationship between the countries has been fractious since the Wayland Civil War and the formation of the close ties between Rizia and Rumberg. The Zeal bombing might well be the tipping point. Preliminary report on Friendship Day bombing incident. Let's see what happened. Weshek intelligence was released through an accounting of the events of Weshek Rizian Friendship Day. The explosion is said to have been caused by a detonation device planted under the grandstands and timed to go off during the afternoon celebrations. Part of the stands collapsed in the blast, killing 3 Weshek civilians and injuring a further 14. Witnesses at the event heard the shouting phrase, "For the King," prior to the blast, suggesting a political motivation and the involvement of pro-Rizia supporters. Wayland's intelligence forces have indicated that the group Su Omnia is under particular suspicion for the attack. Getting a little tense. That's ties that have been tattered. Oh, 15 capital, dude. Holy shit, dude. I've never had so much money in my life. I've never had 15,000. I've never had 15 quadrillion dollars. It's never happened before. All right, turn 3. Oh, nothing in the Royal Herald. Arcasian struggles in South Xena. Oh. Arcasia's military campaign in South Xena is facing stiffer resistance than its previous operation in West Xena. Despite initial successes in overthrowing authoritarian regimes, the Arcasian forces are encountering entrenched positions from local groups influenced by Narashima and Zelina. A massive air bombing campaign has destroyed most of the industrial production capacity of the opposing forces. Damn. This increased resistance is straining Arcasia's military resources and fueling domestic discontent over the ballooning military expenditures. Private military companies are reportedly being deployed to circumvent legal restrictions and avoid repercussions from the AN, further complicating the battle landscape. Is South Xena supposed to be either China or Vietnam? Very funny. Very funny. Oh, the Resonant City restoration finishes. The restoration efforts of the ancient Resonant City center of Topes have been completed. With hundreds of facades renewed and old roads being brought to the surface again, the concrete that was used to cheaply plaster over decaying ancient infrastructure has been removed, displaying the city to the public as it once was. Several ancient excavation sites around the city have also opened, with many of them expected to draw tourists from all over Rizia and Mercopa. These include an ancient villa, as well as a horse racing track and an aqueduct. Several other archaeological sites are still being excavated and are expected to gradually open in years to come. Let us use a live tank to celebrate. Sounds like a great plan. One day we will play as Wayland. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Wouldn't that be wonderful to be the next country of Wayland? We love drug running, don't we, folks? Mining survey yields no results. The Royal Mining Survey has yielded no results. No major mineral deposits have been found underneath topes. Surveyors were careful not to damage the ancient resident ruins in the area, which may have prevented the progress. Mining survey yields no results. The Royal Mining Survey has yielded no results. No major mineral deposits have been found underneath jails. Hope continues to exist that future technological advancements could assist in surveying the seafloor near the city, an area that surveyors were not able to confidently assess using current methods. Bronaz, operational launch of energy storage facilities. The construction of the energy storage facilities in Bronaz has been successfully completed. The facilities are now operational. This development significantly enhances energy security by storing surplus energy generated during peak production periods, ensuring a stable supply and preventing shortages during high demand. This modernization reduces upkeep costs through minimized energy wastage and improves system efficiency, promoting efficient resource use and reducing reliance on other measures. And then government expansion. The new government offices in Bronaz has been officially opened, strengthening the city's role in administration designed to accommodate an increasing number of civil servants. The facilities are expected to streamline operations and strengthen governance. Local businesses are already benefiting from the increased activity in the area, reinforcing Bronaz's growing economic importance. Fucking Bronaz these nuts. Oh! Surveyors of the Crown reported positive results from the mining survey carried out in recent months. Significant gold deposits have been found underneath between Calais and Fort Mano that, if exploited, had the potential to solidify our position as the leading gold producer in the region. Oh, gold! Gold, you say? Azaro nobles present at equipment factory opening. An array of journalists and representatives of House Azaro were given a tour at the freshly built military factory at Folk of the Tor. Thousands of workers have found employment at the complex as Rizia's domestic arms manufacturing reaches its latest expansion. Forget it. Argno has a mining survey with... we only found a large deposit of gold. The Royal Mining Survey has yielded no results. No major mineral deposits have been found underneath Argno. The search was hindered due to the difficulty of the terrain, and the surveyors have not yet ruled out that deposits could still be discovered in the future. Look at this fucking staff, dude. That's St. Dast's Scepter. Damn, son. Damn. I got the clock going. I got the damn books. That's the Herald. Valanquier. Avast. The organized crime undermines the local control. Is this a decision? No. Coordinated criminal networks are now operating with visible confidence. Reports show interference in police duties, the disappearance of key informants, and manipulated court procedures. Drug flow is accelerating, and certain areas now operate under informal gang rule. Local officials request stronger coordination from the center. Negative authority per turn. The Crown is supreme, our authority will crush them. Our authority will crush them. Volga de Tor Military Equipment Factory. The ancient walled city of Topes. Low trade volume. Interesting. My trade volume is low. A dinner table-sized global map? I would love a dinner table-sized global map. That would be so fucking cool. The problem with that is that I would have nowhere to put that in my apartment at all. We must fund the expansion of the Golden Guard. The Golden Guard. New government offices in Port Trezon. The expansion of the administrative offices in Port Trezon have been successfully completed, marking an important step in the modernization of government operations. The new facilities are now fully operational, providing additional spaces for civil servants and improving workflow efficiency in various departments. An update on the Zeal incident. A few weeks had passed since the attack in Zeal. I called Lucita, Hugo, Titus, and Vina to my council chambers for a security update. Titus insisted on sweeping the room before Vina and I sat down. Hugo was next to arrive, early as usual. Your Majesty, how are you faring? I'm still in shock. How is this attack allowed to take place in the King's presence? I can only hope Duchess Azara will enlighten us on that matter. Gentlemen! I guess you do know some geography? Geography? A little. Everyone automatically fell silent as Lucita strode through the room. She was dressed in her army's major blazer, with 2 stars prominently displayed above her right breast pocket. Now that crises had struck, her entire bearing had changed. She had a commanding air about her that recalled her father. Thank you for joining us, Duchess Cesaro. Can you update us on the Zeal situation? Certainly, Your Majesty. She was standing. She picked a dossier off the table and flipped it open. Oh, still standing. I'll reiterate what we already know. At 1605 hours, that's not how you say it. 1605? 1605? Fucking whatever. On December 8, 1950, an explosive object detonated in Smolak Square in the city of Zeal. It had been planted beneath the grandstands that were set up that morning. Seated in those stands were a mix of civilians and political figures who had been invited to the Friendship Day events, all of Wezgic heritage. The most recent casualty report states that 3 civilians were killed in the blast. Of the 14 injured, all are now in stable condition. Thank God. From what I saw, it could have been much worse. It's not good for us regardless. She turned a page. Based on the scant evidence available, Wayland's intelligence agency suspects the Rizian nationalist group Su Omnia was behind the crime. She looked meaningfully at me. My days with the group are long over. We have to make it clear that they don't represent the throne. The continued involvement of one Rico Torres would suggest otherwise. I told you, Duchess Cesaro, I've already spoken to Rico. He had absolutely nothing to do with what happened. What were Su Omnia's activities like in the months leading up to the attack? Nothing out of the ordinary. A few marches and a rally held at the Duke of Iza's mansion in protest to the new Das Grand Sanctuary expansion. All peaceful events held to promote Rizian values. Su Omnia is not and has never been a violent organization. I should clarify. The group's official activities have never been violent, but individual members have printed leaflets calling for a more creative solution to the Wezgic problem. I don't understand why Cousin Rico would even support a group like that. Queen Liza always said monarchy was incompatible with nationalism. The crown knows no borders. It's true. National identity should be secondary to one's loyalty to the throne. Do you really think the Wezgic miscreants streaming into this country are doing so out of loyalty to you? If I may, Your Grace, why have you never once thrown your own weight behind Su Omnia if you support its ideals? Hugo spread his hands wide. It would do the group no favors to have an old man like me in the spotlight. They need youth, vitality. They are the future of Rizia, after all. He smiled warmly at Vina. My daughter looked away. Gross. Gross, dude. Gross. Don't do that. Gross. Fuck. Future or not, we have no concrete proof Su Omnia was behind the attack. All we have is Wayland's word. Why have we not looked into this ourselves? Our foreign intelligence agency is hamstrung by its limited resources, Your Majesty. With an increased foreign intelligence budget, we could commission a full investigation into the Zeal incident and take measures to prevent such an event from reoccurring. How much would that cost us? Sounds like a good idea to me. Then you have better judgment than your father did. Pardon me, ma'am, Major, Duchess. All eyes turned towards the man in the gold blazer. May I point out that you weren't present on the day of the Zeal incident. The king and I were. Prior to His Majesty's arrival, my men and I attempted to clear the square of every conceivable danger. However, we could not be everywhere at once. What's your point, Mr. Gordian? This event has shown how valuable you and the royal family truly are. How ill-equipped my men and I are to seek out and neutralize threats to your safety. Would you rather explode or blow up? I think I'd rather explode. I think that would be funny. Therefore, it is my opinion that any emergency funding allocated to the wake of the Zeal attack should go towards re-expanding the Golden Guard. With a full-fledged division under my command, I could also easily send a team to Iza to confirm our rule-out Su Omnia's involvement in what happened. Lucita's jaw dropped. Hugo eyed Titus uneasily. Your Majesty, you recently conveyed your apprehension over re-expanding the Golden Guard's ranks and duties, but this incident would serve as an excellent opportunity for us to demonstrate our capabilities. Lucita spoke up sweetly. I'm sorry, but why wasn't I privy to this discussion? The expansion of the Golden Guard is a security-related issue, which, as Counselor of War and Internal Security, falls under my purview. It slipped my mind. I've been meaning to bring it up to you. Uh-huh. Ma'am, it's important to recognize the historical significance of the Golden Guard. Until quite recently, our role extended far beyond mere guardians of the king. Previously, the Guard had the authority to conduct sensitive internal investigations without getting caught up in red tape. The royal family and Rizia were both more secure because of it. Lucita gritted her teeth. What you call red tape, I call accountability. You're asking for permission to act outside the law. I'm asking you for permission to become a more agile, flexible arm of the law than any division currently in operation. This will benefit both of us. They're both the same thing. Oh, no! What kind of investigations did you have in mind, Captain? Your Majesty, given the resources, we could recruit a number of qualified individuals and equip them with the technology to carry out covert surveillance in Ether. Excuse me? Captain Gordian, I am all for the expansion of the Golden Guard, but not if you insist on using it to chase a dead end. With respect, sir, we don't know whether it's a dead end, and investigating an organization with ties to the royal family is exactly the kind of sensitive mission the Golden Guard was built for. Perhaps so, Captain Gordian, but the attack took place in Wayland, and your resources that go towards investigating it should be allocated there, not within Rizia. She, Hugo, and Titus glared at each other. The tension was broken by a knock on the door. Lorento came in, clearly out of breath. Excuse me, Your Majesty, my fellow counselors, these stairs never get any easier. Damn. Take a moment, Mr. Esquibel. Lorento sat down after catching his breath. He continued. I just received word from Wayland's foreign minister. President Schmolak plans to make it public that Rizian nationalists were involved in the Zeal incident. Lucita's hands closed into a fist. Our relations with Wayland have been cordial enough that Schmolak will not immediately blame the crown, but he will be expecting a response. He's just testing us. His government can't prove anything. I'll do whatever I have to get President Schmolak back on our side. That's dangerous, Your Majesty. If we begin offering concessions, there are no limits to what Wayland will demand. May I ask what the five of you were discussing before I came in? Our security response to the Zeal incident. Duchess Azaro is requesting funds for an expansion of foreign intelligence to conduct an investigation in Wayland, while Captain Gordian would prefer the Golden Guard be expanded and given license to investigate threats within Rizia's border. Actually, taking up Titus's offer to conduct a thorough investigation of Suamia could help pacify Wayland, at the expense of Rico's dignity and thus the dignity of House Taurus. Rest assured that if the Duke of Iza has nothing to hide, his dignity will remain intact. Showing Wayland that you're serious about investigating the potential terrorists makes diplomatic sense. Ow! Let's not forget, His Majesty has a personal history with the organization. Uncovering any unsavory information could harm the throne, but officially clearing Suamnia's name would be a boon for both the group and the kingdom. So, Your Majesty, will the Crown be funding one of these proposed expansions? Indeed. Captain Gordian, I admire your initiative. I'll provide support to expand the Guard to a division-sized unit. With these extra resources, you'll conduct a full investigation into Suamnia's activities. Titus forcefully saluted. Thank you for your trust in the Golden Guard, sir. We won't fail you. 500 cigarettes. Hello, Wizard Time. What's up, man? 500. Risconins? What if Rizians can only use Riscoins? Fuck. He's Riscoining. Hello, Blue Bear. Dude, imagine being from Rizia. You would be a Rizian. You'd be rizzing on it. Be honest, you're the only person I could talk to today. Aw, Blue Bear. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Lucita scowled. I'm expecting results, Mr. Gordian, and I'm expecting tact and discretion, needless to say. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty, Titus. There's still the matter of the king's public response. Do you have any suggestions? I suggest you tell the truth. You take Wayland's intelligence seriously and will be conducting your own investigation into the suspected perpetrators. Emphasizing, of course, that Suamnia is a lone wolf that does not represent the views of the crown. Hugo sniffed. Or express your confidence that the group is innocent, which it is. I find it unwise to confirm or deny Suamnia's innocence before more information is known, but I'll leave it to you, Your Majesty. How much Riz would you say Rizia has? It's all rizzed up. The damn country is made of gold, for God's sakes. It's Rizzy. 500 to cast the ultimate lung spell. Want to know the spell? Yeah. 500... Behold! 500 cigarettes. And then it, like, collapses your lungs. Oh, oh, Blueberry, everybody's just busy? Oh, I thought you were in a bad spot, man. Well, I'm glad you have some free time, man. It's called lung cancer. Behold, my lung cancer. Trading 500 cigarettes for lung cancer is kind of, I don't know, that's kind of an expensive deal. But that is pretty good payoff, I'll tell you that much. I find it unwise to confirm or deny Suomnia's innocence before more information is known, but I'll leave it to you, Your Majesty. Seems the next steps are quite clear. Or was there any other subject that needed discussion? Nothing more to discuss, sir. Yes. Enjoy the rest of your... This meeting is adjourned. The others began filing out of the room. Titus stayed behind. He walked up to me and looked me in the eyes. Thank you once again, Your Majesty. You have the Golden Guard's undying loyalty. Good, because there's one other investigation I'd like you to conduct for me. Yes, sir. Exactly how my father died, I have reason to believe that his death was no accident. Titus froze in place. He spoke in a low voice. As you know, I was there in the palace when it happened, and believe me, I have some questions of my own. Should everyone who was present that night be considered a suspect? Leave Pable out of it. Almost everyone, leave my butler out of it. Titus nodded seriously. Consider it handled. Expect an update soon along with the progress on Suomnia. Titus gave a dutiful bow and left the room. I picked up a pen and began drafting my response to Waylon. Alright. We have to denounce Suomnia and distance the crown from it. International eyes are on the palace. How long ago did the stream start? About an hour and 30 minutes. The block your windpipe spell? That's what I'm saying, man. You got 2 pills. The red pill gives you 50% damage resistance, but you get hit by a D20 fireball. The blue pill gives no effect, but you do get tuberculosis. Okay, well, I'm gonna take the red pill. I'm not gonna get tuberculosis. 1. And I mean, if I get hit by a D20 and it rolls a 1, and I take 50%, and I take half the damage, like, that's chill. Time to get those Rumberg flags out of storage. For the first time since His Majesty King Ramses' coronation, Queen Beatrice is scheduled to visit Port Drazan. The streets of the capital will be closed off for the afternoon as she and her party drive through the city to Palace Resna, where she will greet the Rizian public from the balcony before meeting with His Majesty and his family in private. A state banquet will follow. Expanded Golden Guard. Powerful King's Guard. Queen Beatrice greets Rumbergians and Bronaz ahead of her state visit to Port Drazan. Queen Beatrice of Rumberg graced Bronaz with her royal presence, giving a short address to the city's large population of ethnic Rumbergians. From the balcony of Bronaz City Hall, she praised the city's Rumbergian diaspora for preserving their rich heritage while also embracing local culture. Jail's Wezra community holds Friendship Day Vigil. Take the red pill and you're on, and you get 1 million subs, or take the blue pill and get a TF2 golden frying pan. I would rather take the blue pill and get the TF2 golden frying pan. Something like 1 million subs. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the growth of this channel. I would love to grow this channel to over like 1 million subscribers. But getting like the golden frying pan would be funny. That's what I'm saying? Yeah, you get it, man. Got a wrap at a kebab shop and it was so good and way too huge. I think I'm more wrapped than man right now. Damn, Jack, careful, man. His fucking tummy's full. I get hit by 2 damage points? See, wizard time? It's that easy, fucks. It's that fucking easy. Oh god, dude. The Wezra community in jails held a candlelight vigil in honor of the victims of the Friendship Day bombing in Zeal. Members of the Brennus Police Department were on hand to prevent potential violence between the mourners and the jail's chapter of Suomnia, which was banned from holding a celebratory rally several days prior. Omegalol. Couldn't be me. I'm gonna expand the border guards, which is the RNC proposal. Expand border guards. The security and sanctity of our borders remain paramount. To combat illicit activities, curb unwanted migration, and instill a sense of security among our citizenry, we hereby declare the expansion of our border guard units. This augmentation aims to fortify our borders, drastically reducing drug trade and ensuring a systemic approach to border management. A systematic approach. Enhanced border security, enhanced border control will not only safeguard our territorial integrity, I can't read for the life of me, but also resonate positively with our populace, enhancing their trust in the state's protective measures. Golden Frying Pan would be funny. Plus, having 1 million people watching my channel wouldn't help, but instead stress me out a lot more than being a YouTuber does already. Well, yeah, I suppose so. Would I purposely swallow a parasite? Oh, Graham, I've thought about that. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't mind having an intestinal worm if it was chill, you know? Like, I mean, eating all the time would be crazy. Being able to eat, like, everything would kind of go hard. Bing. Oh. That border guards are at the ready. In a joint press conference held by the head of the border guards and a representative of the king, it was declared that the king has ordered the border guards to step up their operations and that additional resources are to be committed to this endeavor. The core tasks of this expanded operation is to further reduce illegal drug trade and migration, as well as to prevent infiltration by foreign agents. Rizia's border security was highlighted as a number of one priority for the king, as secure borders means a secure population. Rizia tightens its border security. As part of the rising anti-immigration sentiment within the country, Rizia's government announced that it's stepping up border policing operations, citing the need to step up the fight against illegal immigration and increasing drug trade. Human rights groups have expressed worries about the murkiness surrounding operations of the border guards, claiming that no legal mechanisms exist to hold them to account. Border guard upgrade post in jails, border guard upgrade post in Salabas, border guard upgrade post in Argno, as well as Monteclar. Where's Cardenas? Suppose not. You best just hope it's not a tapeworm. The golden question. Have a nice, successful life with a loving wife and a lot of money, or have Markiplier be your wife? Hey, it's me, Markiplier, and I'm Portuguese. Hey, it's me, Marky Mark, and I'm Portuguese. My Zeal statement is going to denounce. The press is expecting an official government statement from Rizia in the wake of the Zeal incident in particular. They expect the king to either denounce or defend the nationalist group Suamnia, who have been accused of being involved in the bombing. We're going to denounce and distance the crown from Suamnia. Excuse me. Suamnia's activities have increased, though. Let's further expand the crown administration as well. Where would that be? Economy? Welfare? Trade? No. Construction? Further expand crown administration. Oh my gosh. Mass political amnesty for anti-monarchists is very funny. Oh, there it is. Further expansion of the Crown administrative authorities. Holy shit, dude. 3-turn implementation is crazy. 10 plus budget capacity. -1 equal pay. Building upon the prior expansion of state authorities, the Crown decrees the consolidation and modernization of administrative functions to enhance efficiency and responsiveness. This includes the integration of overlapping departments, the adoption of streamlined procedures, and investments in modern technology to support governance. These measures aims to reduce redundancies while maximizing the capacity of the expanded workforce. Departments are directed to submit regular progress reports to ensure alignment with national priorities and adherence to the kingdom's principles of effective governance. Get fucking signed off on. I am out of capital. The Crown Supreme. King denounces rogue organization Suamnia in the bombing aftermath. House Tyler? He got a shitty haircut. He turned 30. He turned 30, got a haircut, hated it, and then went back to get another haircut. He's losing hair, man. He's balding. It's very funny how much he hates himself. And kind of awful. King denounces Rouge organization. Rizians and Wejiks alike are still reeling from the Friendship Day explosion that killed 3 civilians and endangered the life of King Ramus. Wayland has indicated that Rizian organization Suamnia was behind this heinous act. In response, His Majesty made a public statement accusing the group of going rogue, spreading unnecessary violence in his name. We can only hope the perpetrators will be swiftly brought to justice and security restored to the region of Zeal once more. Stronger, smarter government. Yeehaw, partner! Low honor Arthur. Holy shit, dude, that's scary. The Crown continues its commitment to effective governance with major expansion of administrative functions. By consolidating departments, streamlining operations, and investing in modern technology, the government aims to enhance efficiency and service delivery. Officials assert that these improvements will eliminate redundancies and strengthen oversight, ensuring a more capable and responsive state. This initiative reflects the King's vision for a well-structured government that will secure prosperity for future generations. Lesbia alarmed by CSP's growing influence in Mercopa. Agreed. Agreed. I agree. Prime Minister Patricio Alvarez of Lesbia has expressed growing concern over expanding foreign influence in South Mercopa and South and East Mercopa. This comes as Lesbia strengthens its ties with allied powers, signaling a strategic effort to counter regional pressures. Increased naval activity, including rotations by external fleets in the Marcaean Sea, has further emphasized the shifting geopolitical dynamics. Alvarez's administration is leveraging foreign policy and military strategies to reinforce Lesbia's position, aiming to safeguard its national interest amidst the heightened presence of competing powers in the region. Do I play Red Dead Redemption? I still need to play Red Dead Redemption 2 after I got my new PC. We played through the first one. Sue Omnia activities have increased. Your mom. 67 arrests since aftermath of bombing. Weshik authorities have arrested at least 76 people in the Zeal region on suspicions of connection to the bombing. Many of Rizian's and bloodish origin, the whereabouts of many of the detained are unknown, which is starting to worry international observers. Which one would be cooler for the game? In the game, a cool skull mask with flames around it, hat for pyro, a cool skull mask with flames, a buffed chest for heavy, or some agent-looking goggles for spy. Aren't all three of those already items for TF2? For the pyro, the heavy, and the spy? I guess the coolest one would be the buff chest for heavy. I asked because I'm starting to make some cool custom hats. Hell yeah, Blue Bear! Hell yeah! There are already items? I mean, you should make them anyway, because TF2 right now has so many copies of the same item as cosmetics. 1 to the power of X, you cannot say agreed without greed. That is true. I mean, you should make them anyway, Blue Bear, for good practice. We should make some TF2 items on stream one day. I have a little familiarity with Blender. Brennus officials offer aid to Isa's growing unrest. The Brennus Regional Council, led by Countess Leona Saison, has alerted the palace to their attempts to assist with the escalating unrest in Isa. Officials proposed sending additional resources, including personnel and economic support, to stabilize the city, but their offer was dismissed by Duke Rico Torres. Despite Rico Torres' rejection of aid, Brennus officials maintain that their proximity and shared heritage uniquely position them to assist in addressing the city's challenges. Omega lol. Omega lol, dude. Building cleared. A squatted apartment building containing about 60 occupants has been cleared by Rizia's Imperii police force. The occupied house provided temporary shelter to freshly evicted tenants in the area. Local officials have warned that it acted as a safe haven for millennialist ideas. I suppose. Adequate border security. This is not a decision, but a visit from Queen Beatrice. Taurus family statues unveiled. A large white marble statue of the entire Taurus family, including Ramus, Lena, Valero, Estella, and Vina, have been revealed at the intersection of Taurus Avenue and the Golden Boulevard. The statue is a staggering 60 meters tall. With the crowns plated with gold due to its location, the sun sets beautifully behind the family, forming a halo around them in the early evening. Beautiful! Can I put him in the Discord afterwards? Just a random question? Yeah, absolutely, Blue Bear. Not only can you put, like, the links to the workshop stuff in the Discord when you're done, you can post, you can and should post, like, updates on how you're going with the designs and stuff like that. That way other people can, like, give you advice on it. Scout fact, I'm at your location. Let's launch the Crown Supreme campaign. And then the Crown Supreme campaign. I can't. I need more authority. No, I need more money. Yeah, I need a lot more money. Damn, where am I gonna get an extra capital? Oh, from the energy from Queen Beatrice. Vina, Estella, and I sat in Palace Resna, most ornate stateroom, awaiting the arrival of Queen Beatrice Livingston. An informal supper with my sister-in-law was scheduled for the evening, but for now, the protocol for an official diplomatic visit had been observed. Pabel came in through the stateroom door, he took a deep breath. Simply trying to figure out how to put them on the Steam workshop. Oh, you already made them, Blue Bear? Announcing Her Excellency Beatrice Livingston, Queen of the Four Corners of Mercopa, Defender of the Castle Sarsborough, Conqueror of the Tranquil Sea, Stout Protector of the Ancient Lands of Rum, Descendant of the Most Honorable King Edward I, and the Ruler of Rumburg. He stepped aside and Queen Beatrice entered. She was wearing an emerald green gown that matched her tiara. Vina, Estella, and I rose to greet the Queen. Kiss Beatrice on the cheek. Kiss her hand. I kissed my sister-in-law on the cheek. She returned the gesture warmly. What a pleasure it is to see you, Your Majesty. We barely had a chance to speak at the coronation. And my dear niece. She turned towards Vina. Hello, Angel. You're looking more and more like your mother, more and more like your mother every day. I hope your father's proud of the lady you've become. She's on the council, you know. Oh my, so young, and already preparing for the crown. You were younger than me when you got yours, weren't you? It is lovely to see you, Aunt Bay. Beatrice embraced her tightly before moving on to my mother. The two women gave each other air kisses, then stood back and eyed each other. Queen Beatrice. Queen Mother Estelle. She tilted her face upwards and gave a short sniff. Palace looks as magnificent as always, but I fear a chat with your housekeeper may be in order. Every time I visit it smells just the faintest bit like trash. My mother feigned a puzzled look. Is that so, Your Excellency? Funny, I do seem to detect an unpleasant draft of hot air, but only since you walked in. Shall we be seated? If you'll excuse me, I shall take my leave. I have a terribly urgent appointment on the other side of the palace. By all means, Your Highness, our chatter is far more boring than the sort of carousing you're used to. Vina, why don't you run along as well? We'll catch up over supper. Vina reluctantly nodded. Sure, Aunt Bay. Have the staff give my room a ring when you're done. I'll see you two out. But just a moment. Pabel walked Beatrice and myself over to a pair of velvet armchairs. Next to them was a table upon which a towering silver Rumburgian tea urn had been set up. Oh, Catman! A Frosty from Wendy's, Angel? What flavor? I'm kind of chocolate-coated myself. He filled 2 porcelain cups for us, then escorted Vina and my mother out of the door. Beatrice motioned for her own attendants to wait outside. We settled into our seats. To what do we owe this pleasure, Your Excellency? First things first. Queen Beatrice extended her little finger and raised her teacup to her lips. She smiled approvingly. Just like home, my compliments to your butler. Thin Mints? Oh, they got a Thin Mint Frosty at Wendy's? What the hell? That sounds tasty. How are you faring a year into your reign? I know you had quite the scare in Zeal. Yes, Mother and I were lucky to get out with our lives. No Rizians were harmed at all, in fact. How curious. Needless to say, Rumburg has been monitoring the fallout of the incident with great concern. Your concern is much appreciated. She nodded. Aside from my worries about your personal safety, I foresee a scenario where Wayland uses the strategy to its own gain. And Wayland amassing more power is not in either of our interests, correct, Your Majesty? Not as long as they have our land. Precisely. Beatrice leaned forward and held my gaze. Of course, we are the same age, Your Majesty, but I've worn my crown for many years longer than you have yours. And I and my country are far more experienced at dealing with the Republic of Wayland and their backers in the CSP. By indicating that you regard your own countrymen as culpable for the bombing, you are putting yourself in a position of weakness from the start. Have you thought about your next steps? What will you do if Mr. Schmolak fails to relinquish his hold on Zeal? If it comes down to it, I'm prepared to fight. Then you will need Rumburg's help. Do go on, Queen Beatrice. Here's what I suggest, Your Majesty. As you know, Rumburg is currently a major importer of Wejek oil. If we were to significantly reduce our imports, the financial pressure and thus your leverage over Wayland would be considerable. Wait, how much oil are you importing from Wayland? Enough to seriously make a dent in the country's economy were our purchase order to diminish. But in fact, my advisors and I have been speaking about forging new energy partnerships. And as it happens, Rizia is about to come into possession of quite a bit of natural gas, correct? Yes, we've discovered a new gas field. It's very exciting. How grand. My proposal then would be for Rumberg's to purchase Rizian energy in lieu of Weshik oil. We enrich in our country and assist you with your Wayland problem in one fell swoop. I promise you access to the gas from the field and you'll stop purchasing oil from Wayland. I like the sound of that. It doesn't have to be that one particular gas field, to be honest. We'll accept any other source. It's good? You like it? Hell yeah, Angel. Maybe I'll try it. Grant us a small amount of energy to add to our stockpile now, and we can cut off Wayland immediately. We then give you a 1-year grace period to make the transition, after which I warn you, our needs will be quite substantial. Interesting, but how would Rizian gas even reach Rumberg from here? I'm quite sure some of the same ships that carry out our gold trade can be retrofitted to transport natural gas in its liquefied form. Did I hear about what's happening in Iran? Yes, Angel. Unless there's any, like, new updates that I haven't read about recently. For the most part, yeah. Of course, an immediate modernization of your Monkey port would be required to handle the excess shipping traffic. And that can be arranged. Even if you don't ship us gas, getting that port into tip-top shape would make our gold trade more efficient. I think I have a good grasp on the particulars of the deal you're suggesting. And what do you think of the idea? I love it. You buy less oil from Wayland, and we'll make up the difference with natural gas and other energy sources. Thrilling. How much less oil shall we buy then? Screw it, Your Excellency. Cut off Wayland completely. -3 energy, -2 energy per turn, +2 budget per turn. Beatrice smiled. Very bold of you. My sister didn't marry a man who takes half measures. I feel obliged to ask once more, are you positive you'll be able to deliver on Rizia's end of the bargain? If the Queen of Rumberg demands it, so it shall be. Very good. This will all need to be formalized by my parliament and your government, of course. A verbal agreement between in-laws is hardly sufficient. 100% of her oil. Send a diplomatic envoy to Morella. Morella mushrooms. I agree completely. My counselors and your foreign minister can iron out the small print. Precisely. We handle the big picture while the underlings take care of the particularities. Is oil the only resource there is in life? You're glad you live in the US, Angel? We Rumbergians do agree with Wayland on one thing, the right of Dasnurists to practice their religion. So I was quite pleased to hear you granted the Dasnurists of Salabas their long overdue sanctuary expansion. Of course, the Kingdom of Rizia welcomes all denominations of Nurity. Except Galcondists, it seems. One can only imagine Wayland's wrath if he began tolerating them. But I'm getting ahead of myself. How are the princess's marriage plans coming along? I'm on the lookout for candidates. Someone from one of the other royal households, perhaps? Very good. As you recall, I promised my Bradley to the Duchess of Tomsford to secure the loyalty of our country's northwestern regions. We royals are an endangered breed, you know. We've got to tend to our lineage as we would a rose garden. The garden of House Taurus shall remain in bloom for a long, long time. With the help of House Livingston, it shall bloom on only the richest of soil. And don't forget that the rest of Grace is invested in the Taurus line of succession as well. Rizia is one of its linchpin nations, after all. Of course. Our fellow monarchies want to see stable Rizia, especially after the summit at which we all promised closer cooperation. We monarchies have to stick together. She smiled. Together, we will ensure your lasting legacy. She rose to leave. I shall see you at supper, Your Majesty. The Queen gave a door a swift knock. Her attendants opened it, bowing as they did so. She paused. Congratulations on your recent trade deal, by the way, although I wouldn't trust the swords any further than I could throw them. She walked out of her ground. She walked out with her ground trailing behind her. Fuck. My energy resources. Can I renew the Discord link? Yeah. Okay. I'll do that after this. Some say the US might target Brazil next with the argument of there being hidden Chinese bases. Graham, are there hidden Chinese bases in Brazil? That would be very funny. That would be super fucking funny, man. Also, that sounds fucking awful and evil, but I mean... This current administration here in America has surprised most people before, so... I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, it's... With the way things are going and the way America is just brazenly attacking everybody, it looks like there's going to be a war. It looks like there's going to be a war to cut America to pieces. And I'm glad I live in the Pacific Northwest. I can't wait for either Canada or China to annex us as a sub-state. Swedish businessman Walter Tusk goes on holiday in Valanqueir's wine country. Pyromask is still a work in progress, by the way, so I only have a drawing. I'll try my best to 3D model it. The Contuavo Vineyards in Calais welcomed Swedish oligarch Walter Tusk and his family, who spent a night at the winemaker's luxury villa before continuing on a short tour of Valanqueir's wine country. Tusk confided that his newfound interest in the region was inspired by the recent availability of Rizian wine in Swordland. Swedish magnate Marcel Coranti checks in on resort construction progress. In Monkey, acting Duke Herbertus Taurus welcomed Heart of Swordland co-founder Marcel Coranti for a visit to the still under construction Coranti Resort Valanqueir's. The business magnate expressed his approval at the resort's progress and his eager anticipation of its opening. I doubt the US really will get anywhere that argument. Yeah, I agree. Hello, Gamerman. Hello, Gamerman. Oh shit, Volgish Heritage Week allowed to proceed Fort Ailes. The Pales Administrative District was once more allowed to organize its annual Volgish Heritage Week, a festival celebrating the region's history as part of the Valgos Empire, accompanied by controversy since the Rizian reconquest of the settlement of the district. It was especially contentious this year due to the events of Friendship Day and Zeal, which sparked security concerns. However, the week seems to have proceeded peacefully, with only a few clashes between local Rizians and those of Volgish Polesian heritage. Very good. People's Security Office denounces foreign meddling, and the CSP's investment in Nibia... CSP's investments in Nibia achieve poverty reduction milestones. The CSP's investment strategy in Nibia is bearing fruit, significantly alleviating poverty in a nation poised for renaissance under the leadership of Antanar Ladef. The democratically elected leader's bold promise to eradicate poverty within 8 years mirrors the CSP's commitment to economic development as a diplomatic tool. Bones! You're decorating your Switch 2 dock? That sounds fun. Are you, like, painting it? Or using stickers? Stickers. Amidst the simmering tensions of regional conflicts, the CSP's investment in Nibia is not only a humanitarian effort, but also a strategic endeavor to cultivate a reliable ally, ensuring stability and support in critical geopolitical nexus. The People's Security Office denounces foreign meddling. In the wake of the widespread protests against Yerzistan, Zolotek, and Slavaria, the People's Security Office of the UC has accused Arcasia of orchestrating the unrest. Spokesperson Itzal Varquez claimed that Arcasian agents have infiltrated these regions for years, sowing resistance and misleading local groups into chaos under the guise of capitalist intervention. He stated that most sleeper cells and agitators have been apprehended, with confessions allegedly confirming foreign ties. Varquez emphasized that UC's internal affairs are not the concern of other nations and reaffirmed the unity of the state. He announced plans to use back channels to present evidence, including captured spies, to the AN. These provocations will not weaken our sovereignty or our revolution, he concluded, defending the state's actions as necessary to maintain order and security. Stickers of a Roblox game. Also your Pokemon binder? Hell yeah. Drug routes converge. The inland crossroads city, known for its bustling markets and vital transport links, has become a key hub in regional drug trade. I wonder... yeah. Smugglers exploit its roads and rail networks to move narcotics often hidden among legitimate goods. The local economy thrives on this flow of commerce, blurring the lines between lawful trade and illicit activity. When the drug routes converge, cut deals with the merchants. Cut deals with the merchant guilds to expose the smugglers. My fucking budget. Under the authorization of the king, Captain Titus Gordian has tripled the ranks of the Golden Guard from 12 to 36. While Captain Gordian and his original team will stick to their original duty of protecting the King of Rizia and his royal family, the extra 24 have been dispatched to the province of Brennus to begin their investigation into the Su Omnia organization. Oh. Much like the ending of Theodore's cancelled RPG, that is true. It is mostly bones, huh? It's sweat and bones. Privatized crown land. Wow, okay. Privatize the crown lands. Do we launch the Crown Supreme campaign? I don't know. The kingdom orders the privatization of selected lands owned by the royal government, offering these areas to private enterprises for agricultural, industrial, or commercial development. This move encourages investment and accelerates economic development, allowing the private sector to unlock the full potential of these lands. The decree includes provisions to ensure responsible development aligning with national interests and goals. Sweet. Dude, did I launch the Crown Supreme campaign? The Crown Supreme campaign. Wow. This nationwide campaign will aggressively expand the monarchy's presence across media, education, and public spaces to modernize royal messaging and embed the crown into daily life. It aims to strengthen the image of the Taurus dynasty and His Majesty's Ramus while cultivating a generation that sees the monarchy as the foundation of national identity and the guiding force of Rizian monarchism. The Crown Supreme. First, second, and third small energy sale. Wow, all three? Damn. First, second, and third small energy sale. Small initial global energy sale. The kingdom proposes a minimal singular energy export sale, minimally tapping into our energy surplus to stimulate a mild financial uplift. Treading lightly on the global market, this modest transaction intends to add to our fiscal reserves while prioritizing the steadfastness of our internal energy supply and market stability. Sure is interesting when your VTuber model just lays down. That is true. I did have it set to reset, but I guess not. Second global energy, small second global energy sale is also very funny. We have to do all three? Yeah. That's very funny, all at once. The kingdom proposes another minimal singular energy export sale. And then, of course, a small third global energy sale. Sweet. We love energy, don't we, folks? Now I have to invest in the Callus Gold Mine. Envisioning a prosperous future, the council proposes the construction of the Callus Gold Mine, directly influencing Rizia's economic trajectory and reinforcing House Taurus through enhanced Valanqueer's investments. Although the prospective financial gains glitter with promise, concerns bubble up from the local vineyards, fearful of detrimental impacts on the renowned wine industry. The decree brings to light a pivotal decision, embrace a lucrative yet disruptive opportunity to preserve the tranquil stability of a fruitful land. Okay. Ramus Taurus University. This is an event later down the line that needs it. Train, 1 support, and 1 tank unit to keep our power projection on average. Alright. But let's go hunting. Send diplomatic envoy to Morella. In a bid to strengthen international relations and fortify alliances, it's proposed to send a diplomatic envoy to a nation of your choice. Pales, Whale, Dardia, or Morella. The success of this mission could lead to enhanced trade, cooperation, and mutual understanding. We shall send to Morella. Alright, we got a lot of news to read. We had some investments, man. Quite a few. That's 4 of these bad boys. Gotta go eat dinner, Blue Bear? Gotcha. I'm also thinking about taking a break here. We're at the 2-hour mark. I'd like to go for 3 hours today. I'm kind of having fun reading the book. New opportunities as crown lands open. His Majesty's recent decree marks a daring step towards economic expansion, inviting private investors to develop selected crown lands. This initiative opens the way for agricultural growth, industrial projects, and commercial ventures, unlocking untapped potential across the kingdom. Carefully managed privatization ensures responsible development that matches national priorities while stimulating economic progress. With entrepreneurs already expressing strong interest, the kingdom is on the edge of a new era of prosperity. As new businesses take root and infrastructure expands, this initiative will create jobs, drive innovation, and strengthen our nation's path of economic strength. The Crown Supreme campaign launches to widespread praise. Oh, thank you, Gamer Man. I'm a reader. I love to read. I love reading. I love to read, dude. The palace has officially unveiled the Crown Supreme campaign, a sweeping cultural initiative designed to expand the monarchy's presence in schools, media, and public life. Drawing on the proud legacy of the Taurus line, the campaign presents His Majesty Ramus as a symbol of unity and continuity in uncertain times. Public response has been overwhelmingly positive, with increased interest from abroad and a noted rise in patriotic sentiment. While some within the nobility express cautious restraint, the campaign signals renewed confidence in the Crown's leadership and vision for the nation. Energy exports to increase minimally. In an effort to slightly boost the treasury, it was announced that the kingdom is exploring the possibility of selling off a small part of our gas surplus to interested global partners. A specific partner is still to be found, but several nations have already expressed interest. During the press announcement, it was especially stressed that only a small surplus will get sold. In order to not endanger Rizia's domestic supply, it was also highlighted that only one stable partner will be sought, and that no reckless sale will take place. New gold mine near Calais, Valanqueers to benefit. The palace has announced that the king has authorized the construction of a new gold mine in Valanqueers province to bolster local industry and increase the extraction of the valuable resource. Situated between Calais and Fort Mono, the project reflects King Ramus's dedication to stimulating economic growth for his home province. The expansion of gold mining operation raises intriguing questions about the untapped wealth hidden beneath the surface of the kingdom. In any case, this new mine will truly expand on the golden part of the Golden Kingdom. A cultural push. Excuse me. Observers across the Mercopa are watching Rizia's new Crown Supreme campaign with interest, noting its clear intent to centralize symbolic power around the Taurus dynasty and His Majesty Ramus. The campaign, which spans media, education, and public exhibitions, is seen as a calculated effort to reinforce the monarchy's role in shaping civic identity amid shifting domestic currents. While the initiative has reportedly bolstered national morale and improved the kingdom's image abroad, some analysts interpret it as a preemptive response to elite fragmentation and rising popular demands. As Republican and socialist ideas continue to gain ground across the region, the Crown's strategy stands out for placing royal continuity, not radical reform, at the center of its national vision. Did you just burp out gay unintentionally? Gay. Of course. Rizia's kingdom has announced to Mercopan nations that it's looking to step up its exports of gas. The country's looking for regional partners to sell to, intending to improve its diplomatic standing through the trade of one of its most valuable resources. Resources. Its most valuable resources. There's Terrador. Oh, the gas field expansion is taking fucking forever, dude. I'm out of gas, man. 17 fucking budget, though. Hell yeah. Cedric Rifle arrives in Morella. Famed diplomat Cedric Rifle has arrived in Cavette to lead our country's diplomatic mission to Morella. During his stay, he will visit various political and economical leaders, as well as a tour of the country in an effort to improve relations. Better than ya? Where? I wanna play where? I wanna play Where City, dude. Solmimer! How are these guys doing? Oh, Ewald Alfonso is still president. That's funny. Ewald. Hey, it's me, Ewald. Outskirts of Isa City. Les outskirts de Isa. Do not use Rico's plans for his scapegoats. He is an idiot. Wow. After months of promises and scheduled conflicts, Vina and I were finally on our way to visit my cousin, Rico Torres, at his palace in Isa. I'll finish this chapter and then I'll take a break. Might take a while though, actually, now that I'm looking at it. The city's main road was straight and impossibly wide. a relic of Marcaean times when the city was a major trading center. I waved out the car window to the crowds of citizens lining the road. Up ahead loomed the domed library of the university. I noticed most of the people who had come out to see us were native Rizian, even on the streets of the city's Wezhek quarter, Little Raklowitz. Vina suddenly tapped me on the shoulder. Father, look over there. In front of the university library, a construction crew was hastily pulling a sheet over a large object. I want to see what's under that sheet. We came to a halt. My guard exited the car and ordered the workers to remove the sheet. It was one of the statues I commissioned earlier in my reign depicting the Taurus lineage, my father, myself, and Vina. All our heads had been chopped off. Looks like the good people of Hisa are exercising their freedom of expression. You're not worried, Father? Vina unconsciously put a hand on her own neck. I wonder if Rico wanted us to see this. He's trying to crack down on crime here, isn't he? What better excuse than sedition against the royal family? That's a good theory, Vina. You're as perceptive as your mother was. Thank you, Father. Hugo's meeting is here tonight. Here too, right? Why do you think they wanted us here so badly? I have my guesses. I can't even remember the last time Cousin Rico and I properly spoke. When we were children, maybe? We rode on until we reached Palace Saison. Under Rico's stewardship, a formidable-looking iron gate had been constructed around the otherwise tranquil palace complex. His security led us through the Duke's residence, a blindingly white building with the flags of Rizia and House Taurus hanging from every window. It's the 2K special. A Waldo audiobook? Damn. We walked up to the doors. As soon as the guards opened them, a pair of long-nosed Rizian hunting dogs raced towards us, barking. Pet the dogs. Bella, Bruno, sit. Both dogs promptly sat at attention, still as statues. I heard the sound of boots on tile as my cousin Rico approached. He was wearing an olive green tweed jacket and a flat cap. He gave me a quick bow of acknowledgement, then knelt and kissed Vina's hand. I was struck by his transformation from a gawky, insecure teen to a broad-shouldered, preternaturally confident young man. Welcome, my cousins. It has been far too long. Greetings, Your Grace. I trust Father informed you of today's plans. We leave for the woods in an hour. Wait, what? Hugo appeared from behind his son, a sheepish look on his face. Your first hunt as king. I wanted it to be a surprise. Let's go shoot something. As His Majesty proclaims, so it shall be. I'm already equipped myself. He turned around and showed us the KA-74 semi-automatic rifle strapped to his back. Hugo turned up his nose disapprovingly. Isn't that cheating? Boars are speedy bastards. You'd be surprised, Your Highness. He smiled rakishly at my daughter. We have outfits prepared for the two of you, and your choice of weapons, of course. That'll be the good old-fashioned rifle for me. Hugo smirked at his son. You see, boy? There are still real gentlemen in this world. I do wish I'd known about these plans. I never so much as held a gun before. Come now, I'll teach you. It'll be great fun. Inside, Vina and I quickly refreshed ourselves and changed into the hunting garb that had been laid out for us. We stepped out to find two waiting jeeps. Care to share a car with your old man? Hugo, shall we ride together and let the children catch up? I'll ride with Duke Rico. I have much to discuss with him. Rico nodded, and Aide held the door open, and we hopped into the first car. East of the palace, the landscape quickly turned hilly and green. We were entering the Brennus Forest Estate, a private hunting ground reserved for the nobility only. I turned away from the window to see Rico looking at me intently. You must already know what I'm about to say, Your Majesty. I remember a time when you were chomping at the bit to speak in front of Suamia. Now you regard us as... them as criminals. I had no choice. I'm trying to avoid an international incident. Well, I humbly request that you try harder. Whatever you think of us, Suamnia didn't plan the Zeal attack. A light smirk formed on his face, though I can't say I wasn't happy to see those Wezheks get what's coming to them. Good night, Jack. Have a good one, man. Halaita, if it is said, so it is. We were all thinking it. The point is about your investigation into us will turn up nothing, about Waylon at least. But if you want this mess cleared up in time for Zeal to be returned, I think I can help you. How? The people in my organization are loyal to me, Your Majesty. Very loyal. If one or two of them were to confess to the attack, as a splinter cell acting independently of both Suomnia and the Crown, it'd solve both our problems. A bold suggestion, Your Grace. Would you expect anything less of the Duke of Isa? I appreciate the gesture, but I can't condone this. Understood, Your Majesty. He winked. That's not code, Rico. Come forth with false suspects and I'll have your head. Oh! Well, never mind then. Rico looked away for a moment. The woods around us were growing denser. How are you faring as Duke of Isa, my cousin? Be honest. Rico eagerly turned back towards me. I'm sure you've been kept abreast of the situation here, Your Majesty. The drugs, the violence, the open resistance against our government. It's concerning indeed. What can I do to help? I'm glad you asked. I've heard that in times of emergency, police from the Rizian Central Forces can be placed under individual leaders' direct command. I petitioned your War and Security Counselor for such a transfer, but she refused. She made a mistake. The Brennus police cannot be counted on to help you keep the peace here. So you're using your family connections to go over her head. Well, yes, I don't see another alternative. You understand that the city is a bellwether for our house. If we lose it, we lose Rizia. I'll send you the petition when we both back at home. I trust you to do what's best for our city. We pulled off the road and continued some distance on a dirt path that wound through the pines. We came to a halt at the mouth of the grassy clearing with gently sloping sides. Hunting blinds lined its perimeter. It vaguely resembled a gigantic serving vessel. At last, enough politics talk. We disembarked and Rico eagerly unlatched the back of our jeep. Bella and Bruno hopped out and started sniffing the air. Got the scent already, my dears? Must be dozens of boars out there. The other car pulled up next to us. Hugo and Vina got out, still in conversation. So you see, Your Highness, knowing how to aim and fire a gun correctly is useful royal skill as knowing how to hold a salad fork. Ever step on a pine cone? No, that sounds awful, though. I trust you two enjoyed the car ride. It's always a pleasure to get to know the princess better. He waved his son over. But I've bored you enough. Your Highness, I believe Rico is going to show you the ropes. I would be delighted to, if the king permits. He extended his hand to my daughter. It's not my decision. Do you want to go with him, Vina? Yes, I'd love to. We didn't even get a chance to speak at the coronation. Hello, Vince. Vina took Rico's hand with a smile. He picked up their guns and walked her over to one of the blinds, dogs in tow. Hugo shrugged. The two of us it is, Your Majesty. An assistant handed me my rifle. It was a Rizian made, Dator 56, clunkier than the one I'd used in the military, but usable. Not as awful as stepping as a 1x1 Lego stud. Youch! I imagine, yeah. My son may aim for quantity, but men like us know quality is key. He locked and loaded his own data rifle. Its stock had a gold embossed bull on it. We climbed up into the hunting blind opposite of Vina and Rico's position. And now we play the waiting game. There's a long stretch of silence, punctuated only by the chirping of birds and the occasional bark of Bella and Bruno in the distance. I may not like Rico's hunting methods, but his dogs are second to none. They'll drive the boars out in no time. Rico's a shrewd kid, takes after his father. You're too kind. He calmly aimed his rifle towards the glade. So you'll consider him as a marriage prospect for your daughter, then? Shockingly enough, the thought never crossed my mind. That is indeed shocking, Your Majesty. As you know, there are interests both inside and outside this country who seek to snatch Rizzi away from House Taurus. Hey, Brandon, what's up? Consanguinity wouldn't be my first choice either, but it's the only way to keep our family in power. The right alliances can make us more powerful than blood alone, and the wrong ones will doom us to history's dustbin. As your uncle and your advisor, this is my advice. You may follow or disregard it as you choose. Just then we heard a rustling sound coming from the woods. Bella and Bruno found their quarry. A group of boars raced into the clearing, the dogs nipping at their heels. Working in tandem, they forced their prey into the lowest part of the glade. Looking through my gun sight, I fixed my crosshairs on the group. I'll shoot a boar. I took aim and pulled the trigger. The largest boar fell to the ground, the others scattered in all directions, squealing. Well done! As I turned away to reload, I heard a service of rapid-fire bangs coming from Rico's direction. I looked back out the blind to see the ground littered with dead boars. Not very sporting, if you ask me. By the end of the hunt, I'd racked up 4 kills, Hugo had 6, and Rico had a dozen. He and my daughter were deep in conversation as they climbed down from their blind. Liza this, Liza that. I'm telling you, if the Wayland Civil War had happened while grandmother was still in power, she wouldn't have set out the welcome mat. No, Liza would have honored Rizzy and Wayland's long history of cooperation and shown compassion for those who suffered. You naive little girl, everyone in Mercopa wants what we Rizzians have. The Wejik saw a chance to get it, and they jumped on it. He flung his gun on the ground in frustration. I'm afraid your daughter didn't shoot a damn thing on today's hunt, Your Majesty. She was too busy distracting me with her nonsense opinions. You've done well enough for all 4 of us. Congratulations. He seemed to collect himself for a moment, then smirked. Thank you. You didn't make out too poorly yourself. We posed for photographs next to the boars we'd killed. The assistants began packing everything away. We'll eat well tonight. The chef at Palace Saison does an excellent braised boar with wine. Rico, Vina, why don't you two take a ride ahead and notify the kitchen staff? His Majesty and I will be right behind you. Vina gave a pleading look. Why don't you go with your son, Hugo? I'll accompany the princess. Hugo raised an eyebrow. As you wish. Come along, Rico. Vina silently thanked me as Rico and Hugo departed. We climbed into the second jeep and headed back to the palace. Dinner that night was indeed delicious. Yummers! Oh, Vogsland has a relationship update for us. They're now neutral. More like Vogs come. United Campania's SSS monitors Geopolitico's Kyo office. In a move that has sent ripples through international journalism circles, the State Security Service of UC has commenced surveillance on Geopolitical's Kyo office. The scrutiny, publicly denounced by Assistant Secretary Tokzintli Ayatake, betrays fractures within the Contanian government, with a decision by Chairman Melenev drawing fire for its implications on press freedom. This act of state oversight signals an ominous trend in UC's treatment of the press, raising alarm bells about media liberties and transparency within the nation. Global tourist destination. Influential cultural projection. Poltrazon, the Rizia Imperii Businesswomen's Association highlights gender pay gap. A new report released by the Rizia Imperii Businesswomen's Association, the RIBA, reveals that despite the great strides our kingdom has made for women's rights, inequality persists in the job market. Men still earn significantly more than women, a gap that the RIBA report suggests can be surmounted with the help of the government intervention. Got it. Didn't I want to take a break? Yeah, I do. Let's take a break. You got the game music, it's chill. Just chilling? Very good. Very good indeed. Oh, well, I mean, I guess I could play that music. Well, BRB. Burp, a burp, a burp, a burp.
Footsteps echo through the rain, and every corner hums my name. Memories that never age, garden shadows haunt the sage, and memories that never age. Footsteps echo through the rain, and every corner hums my name.
What the fuck? The hell kind of music is that? They got people singing? Evil. Evil. Weevil, like the Pokemon. What's up, gamers? You'll be quick. Alright, break taken. Stretched. I did a nice stretch, got some more water, took a BP. I took a pistol. Alright, let's see, what else? I'm like out of money and it looks like I need to invest in stuff, so I'm kind of scared what's gonna happen. But maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe it's an authority check. Stats check. Surge in tourism revenue. The kingdom's reputation as a safe and enchanting destination has led to a significant increase in tourism. This boom has subsequently boosted treasury revenues, presenting a unique opportunity for economic advancement. The economic windfall presents an opportunity to allocate these newfound funds to the treasury. Tourism, boost the treasury. Hell yeah. Okay, never mind. King visits... Oh, the king's visit to Monteclar. Bro only loves instruments. Anticipation runs high in Monteclar as the townspeople gather outside the fortress, which has been temporarily closed to prepare for King Rames's arrival. Accompanying the king is the Royal Counselor of War and Internal Security, Lucita Azaro. Meanwhile, General Carlos Robles Azaro is planning an inspection of the adjacent Camp Domos, ensuring all preparations are in order. Point Dart. Oh, there's Cardes. Cardes is a border town. What the fuck? Found it. Royal visit to the Scarlet Kingdom. Ease a police transfer. We want to deny the request for more police. Duke Rico Torres of Iza has requested the transfer of additional police forces to his direct control to crack down on the recent upswing in crime. These reinforcements would be drawn from the federally controlled Central Police Headquarters in Rizia Imperii. Deny the police transfer. Sanctuary restoration, mining survey. Well, we're still doing outer mining surveys, yeah. Some of these mining surveys are gonna take a while, huh? Gold mine is now under... The Squeer's gold mine is gonna take fucking forever, dude. But we got a little bit of money out of that, Look at that fucking income. My energy is shot, though. That's crazy. Alright, royal visit to the Scarlet Kingbird Festival in Salabas City. Saebus. Every spring, the seaside town of Salabas celebrated the Scarlet Kingbird Festival. The vibrant, colored songbirds spent their winters in Xena, near the southern part of what used to be the Mozur Empire. Every spring, like clockwork, they flew back over the Gulf of Meridia to settle in Salabas. Their return was celebrated with music, dancing, and lavish banquets opened by speech from the reigning count or countess of Salabas. It was traditional for the king of Rizia and his family to attend. The sun hung low in the sky over the Arena Salabas, a 100-year-old open-air venue perched directly on the beach. Vina and I sat waiting in the royal box as cameras flashed in our direction. My daughter impatiently tapped her fingers on the arm of her chair. We hadn't spoken much since Iza. Don't worry, it'll start soon. The program announced a special guest. I wonder who it will be. Look, over there, by the way. She pointed to a cluster of buildings a little further down the coastline. In the middle of it rose a spire covered in scaffolding. It looks Das Nurist. I wonder if that's the sanctuary the Grand Wiseman was asking for. I hope it has good security. Sal was right. Everybody deserves a space to worship God in their own way. A fanfare sounded from the pit orchestra, and a dark-haired woman stepped on stage. I recognized her as Leona Saison, Countess of Salabas. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to welcome His Majesty King Ramus and Her Highness Prince Vina to our humble city. We have another special guest here today as well. It's been 25 years since my beloved cousin Angelica was sent into exile. Like all Saisons, I hold out hope that someday the king, in his infinite generosity, will bring her back to us. Perhaps the Saison matriarch has been punished for long enough. Vina nodded. She craned her neck to get a better view of the stage. Today, we are graced with the presence of her child Manus, heir of House Saison, leader of the Rizian People's Party, and prodigal son of Brennus. The audience roared as Manus Saison got on stage. This was no longer the nervous young man I'd met in Port Trezon. He radiated confidence as he stepped up to the podium. Greetings, Salabines! He waited for the applause to subside, then held up a hand for the audience to listen. The entire arena fell silent. The story of the Scarlet Kingbird is a story about trust. Every year, this tiny feathered creature travels thousands of kilometers to reach our shores. He doesn't know what perils await him on the way to his destination, nor what sort of welcome will await him there. Yet he flies on, because something deep within his soul compels him to do so. An inner voice that tells him, this is your home. The kid's got charisma. Shh. Vina glared at me, then turned her full attention back to the man on stage. And what of those who wait for him? They have no idea where he's been, or how he knows to navigate to this exact same spot each time. Still, they gather here, scanning the skies for the first sign of his return. As if on cue, a solitary bird came flying towards us from over the horizon. Its plumage was bright red. A tear rolled down Manus's cheek. Trust is the only way. It's the only way any of this works. Even when we're given no reason, even when our faith is tested over and over. A second bird followed, then a third. It's only when we place our trust in one another that we are able to find our way. The audience gasped as the sky over our heads filled with hundreds and hundreds of kingbirds, their crimson feathers magnificently lit by the setting sun. Have you ever seen anything so beautiful? It's breathtaking. Vina sniffled. She had tears in her eyes as well. Once the sun had set and the birds had gone to roost, we made our way to the VIP reception in the neighboring pavilion. A big band was playing jazz music as Vina and I entered. We immediately found ourselves surrounded by local officials, celebrities, and members of the press. It was nearly an hour before I was able to sit down. Almost as soon as I parked myself in a chair, I noticed Manus Saison making his way over to me. Mr. Saison, a pleasure to see you again. Manus smiled and shook my hand. Actually, I've been hoping to speak with you for a long time. So why didn't you request an audience with me? He gave me a look that was equal parts hurt and puzzled. I did, through your Grand Vizier. The message must have gotten lost. But since we're both here right now, Your Majesty, I know what you and your family think of me, and I know that my position in government is symbolic at best. But I still think we have a chance to accomplish great things for this country. Alright, I'll indulge you. Tell me what you have in mind. Well, Your Majesty, I joined the House of Delegates because of Lucas Saison. Because my father's rash act of violence robbed Rizia of the peaceful transition it deserved. The rest of the RPP and I are in agreement. Our kingdom thirsts for reform. We can grant our people a voice without spilling a drop of blood. I won't change the system, but would work with him. The people have a voice. That's what the House of Delegates is for. Quite right, Your Majesty. With just a few changes, it can fulfill its intended purpose. I envision a Rizia where the concerns of commoners and nobles are given equal weight, where an elected parliament makes the laws, but the royals retain their status and influence. I know I'm taking a risk by suggesting this to you, but I believe that unless significant changes are made, we may be facing another uprising. You have absolutely no intention of doing away with the monarchy? Manus shook his head hurriedly. As I said, I'm not my father. Another revolution would damage the country and endanger what's left of my family. There are factions within Rizia that have other, more radical ideas. The RPP and I are keeping them in check for now. Hello, Maria. That's right, that's the right idea. Without an outlet for demands, they could become dangerous. I agree. I would never presume to tell the king how the country should be run. Just know that, should you choose to guide Rizia in a more democratic direction, my party is preparing to back you. How exactly would you back me? We will get the public on your side. When the time comes, they will embrace reform without hesitation. It would help if you implemented some of the decrees we've proposed. I won't change the system, but would work with it. Changing the entire system of government? We probably won't go that far. A tentative smile appeared on Manus' face. I understand, Your Majesty. Of course, my party would be thrilled to have your ear. It would be an honor to see you at the next House of Delegates session. I'll be there. I'll see what I can do. With a smile, he stood up and pushed back his chair. I've taken up enough of your time. If you'll excuse me, I'll freshen up my drink. He turned around to head to the bar and came face to face with Vina, who was returning to our table. Her face was slightly flushed. Oh, excuse me, Mr. Suzerain. You had edible brownies, Cherry? I wanted to do shooters. They make, I'm not really into smoking, but I told some of my coworkers, and they were really excited for some fucked up reason that they would love to smoke with me, and I'm like, I'm not really into smoking, but I wouldn't mind doing, like, edibles. They have little liquid shots that you can take, apparently. But I have no idea about all that stuff. It's hard for me to walk into a smoke shop because they're so cringe looking. Nothing to excuse, Your Highness. I hope you're enjoying your time in Salabas. I was just speaking to the bartender. He's still trying to get the rest of his family out of Dardia. I told him I'd see what I could do. Manus smiled warmly. That's very noble of you, but there are thousands like him, and not all of them are lucky enough to catch the Princess of Rizzi at a benevolent moment. We've got to tackle the problem at the root, not by granting special favors. Vina ignored my remark. Your speech was beautiful, Mr. Suzerain. Actually, it reminded me of an essay of Queen Liza from '83. On social contracts, yes, that one was inspiration. Sometimes edibles are disgusting. I can imagine. What were the others? The band began playing Sweetheart of Ventry City, an upbeat tune that had recently reached us from Arcasia. You know what? Tell me after this dance. She took a step closer towards Manus and extended a hand towards him. He looked at me questioningly. One dance, then we go home. Vina beamed, Manus took her hand and rose from his seat. Wait, this is faster than the dance I've been learning. Do you know the steps? As a matter of fact, I do. I'll walk you through it. He led Vina out on the dance floor. Cameras flashed as the two of them started dancing. I wondered if the photographers were capturing the look in my daughter's eyes. It was the same one her mother had given me during our first dance together. Oh, they're so cute together. Oh. I need to invest in the Rhombus Taurus University. Construct me. The Rhombus Taurus University. Oh, 3 budget, fuck. We decree the founding of the Rhombus Taurus University, a new beacon of higher education and research. This institution will be dedicated to foster the academic excellence, innovative research, and the pursuit of knowledge across a wide spectrum of disciplines. The establishment will also contribute to the defense industry research and production with its technical facilities. Furthermore, it will be equipped to prepare future leaders and thinkers who can contribute significantly to the nation's progress and uphold the intellectual heritage of our society. Alright, and then we need to train 1 support and 1 tank unit to keep our power projection on average. 1 tank and 1 support unit. 1 support, 1 tank. Where the fuck did I get an armored division? To keep our power projection. Very good. Very good. Very good indeed. Lodge the shot's needle into your arm. Oh, crack cocaine! Oh, the shot of weed? The shot of, like, THC? That's so funny. That's like a funny idea of shooting up, like, THC. Rufus Graggs, Royal Gossip, Vina's Dance at Last. Not reading that. Suzerain Air gives speech about trust, but can he be trusted? Don't care. New university, dedicated to King Rhombus Taurus' intellect. In order to encourage the growth of a new generation of intellectuals, scientists, and engineers, the king has authorized a new university to build in his honor. Located in Port Chazon, academics around the country have rejoiced at the prospect, praising our king's towering intellect and incredible foresight. Rumors about the inauguration ceremony for when the building is completed have already started to circulate, with great thinkers from across Procopa expected to be on the invite list. Oh, President Walker boosts welfare, faces economic challenge. President Dwight Walker's decision to expand Arcasia's welfare spending through deficit financing has delivered mixed results, easing social unrest while driving the nation's debt to GDP ratio to a concerning 90%. Oh! I mean, you know you're running a fucking modern state when you have a 90% debt to GDP ratio. The move has quelled protests and boosted Walker's approval ratings, but it's also weakened public support for Charles DeVos of the Reformist Union. Critics raised concerns that the growing debt may limit Arcasia's ability to respond to future economic crises, placing long-term fiscal stability at risk. The administration now faces the challenge of sustaining social welfare programs while navigating the economic risks posed by mounting national debt. Oh, megalol. Rizian Oil and Gas continues assessment of new gas field. The Rizian Oil and Gas Corporation is continuing its assessment of the newly discovered gas field off the country's coast. Tentatively nicknamed Aureus, in cooperation with police and scientists, a team of geologists has begun seismic surveys to determine the field's exact borders. It is expected that the surveys will be completed within the next several months. Indeed. Monteclar? Golcondas pilgrims demand access to the Morellan border. Allow the Golcondists passage. A considerable congregation of devout Golcondist pilgrims from Dardia and Morella have congregated at the Point Dark border crossing, seeking entry into Rizia for their sacred pilgrimage. Allowing these pilgrims to cross into Rizia could boost global image as a bastion of tolerance and compassion. However, these groups may intend to visit holy sites that are currently restricted under our laws. Allow them passage. Okay, done. Give Lucita permission to send an intelligence operative to Pales. The court has heard rumors of rising discontent among the lower quarters. Complaints echo in village halls, market alleys, and radio corners. Nothing explosive yet, just a persistent sense that the public is no longer looking up to their rulers with the same regard. Some bread and circuses will take care of this. The Ramos Taurus University. This survey's almost done, and so is this one. I think next term we'll get him. Imagine being named Dwight Walker. Yeah, man, that really couldn't be me. Kind of embarrassing. Let me fix my camera. I think that's the thing that's putting me to Spiegel. Put it directly on my stupid face. Alright, Rusty, what do you want, man? On the banks of the Zopna River in Bronaz stood Palace Virana. Almost as opulent as my own palace, it had once served as a summer residence for my ancestors, the Rubaz family. Today it was the home of Rosello Rusty Montaro, the CEO of Rizian Royal Gold and the wealthiest commoner in the country. I stepped out onto the deck of the Rizania as the yacht approached the palace's private dock. Hugo and Elna were already there, gazing out at the grounds. I can't believe what I'm seeing. Palace Verona without its water garden is no palace at all. I think it's an improvement myself, but what do you make of this, Your Majesty? I looked in the direction she was indicating. The water garden, once a tranquil oasis filled with blossoming flowers and gently burbling fountains, had been replaced with a gigantic gold-tiled swimming pool. Remind me, how did a man like this take over the most powerful corporation in Rizia? He got an act for being in the right place at the right time. Legend has it, he worked his way up from the regional mine supervisor in a series of backroom deals and boardroom betrayals. Suddenly, a group of armed men exited the palace in single file. They positioned themselves at equal intervals around the dock. They followed us with their eyes as we disembarked and walked towards the palace veranda. As I passed the largest guard, I noticed he was wearing a badge that read, Palantor Security Solutions. Good morning, sir. He stared at me with a look of non-comprehension. There was a rustle behind me as Titus shifted his weight on high alert. Rusty rose from where he'd been sitting and rushed over to us. Antonin! Anton, that's no way to treat our royal visitors. The guard reluctantly bowed and stepped aside. Rusty ushered us past, shaking his head as we did so. I'm so sorry. You can take the guards out of Arcasia, but you can't, well, you know. The gold magnet's red hair was streaked with gray, but his eyes had a youthful mischief about them. He gestured towards a number of floral-patterned chairs that had been set out on the terrace overlooking the pool. On behalf of all of us at the esteemed Rizian Royal Gold Corporation, I do hereby extend my cordial greetings to your royal delegation. He trailed off with a grin. Heck, I was never one for formalities. Welcome to my palace, Your Majesty. It's a pleasure, Rusty. There you go. With your father, it was always Rossello, and this, Mr. Montaro, that. He turned to Hugo and Elna. Your Grace, Madam Treasurer, haven't had a sit-down with you two since the last gentleman wore the crown. Would you make a whole building out of gold despite knowing it's a very flexible material? I guess that would be like an awful decision, huh? My uncle gritted his teeth. You must mean my honorable brother, His Majesty King Valero, may he rest in peace. Now, Hugo, Rusty paid his respects at the funeral like everybody else. She shook Rusty's hand, he beckoned for us to sit as his valets brought over water and fresh fruit. So how's business? What's the occasion? Do you need an occasion to catch up with an old friend? I couldn't help noticing you've been crisscrossing the kingdom lately, and no royal tour would be complete without a visit to my modest little hideaway. Plus, you know, you did accept a big chunk of change from me lately. Thought you might want to come and meet your benefactor in person. Yes, thank you for your offer. You'll get your repayment in due time. It was nothing. I know you and Miss Werner will put the cash to good use. A shame Her Highness couldn't make it. Too occupied with her latest beau. One dance does not a beau make. We'd appreciate it if you didn't speculate about Princess Vina's romantic prospects. Agreed. My daughter is a private person and her love is strictly off limits. Please tell me what this meeting is about. We don't have all day. Well, alright. He sat back and unbuttoned the top button of his shirt. Gross. Now, as you know, I imagine he has like a big fucking tuft of hair underneath that shirt, man. Does Russell remind you of a certain Family Guy? Is it Peter Griffin? Are you talking about Peter Griffin? That's funny. Does this Rossello figure remind you of anybody? Now, as you know, Rizian Royal Gold boasts a long, proud history of cooperation with the Crown. I intend to keep it that way. Glad we're on the same page. My point being, as a trusted business associate, there's something I need to bring to your attention. Feast your eyes on this. He picked up a piece of paper from the table next to him. It was a flyer with a few sentences written in both Rizian and Wezek. Supervisors at my mines have gotten word that the workers are holding after-hours meetings on the subject of unsafe conditions. Ah, the first step to unionizing. Don't know if I'd go that far, but the more employees put their heads together, the more dangerous their ideas get. Elena struggled to keep a pleasant expression on her face. Have there been any accidents lately? Anything that might have triggered this? Rusty snorted. Accidents have been part of this job since the dawn of time. Used to say you weren't a real miner until you were missing a finger. Did you ever work in the mines yourself, Rusty? Rusty slowly held up his left hand. His little finger had been lopped off at a second joint. Look, it's you, Cherry! First week on the job in Argno, thought I'd save some time by fixing a blockage in one of the ore processors. Reached right in, and wouldn't you know it, it started working again. But I did blame RRG for my own boneheaded stupidity? Your Majesty, I did not. Hugo cleared his throat. Do you have any request of His Majesty, Mr. Montaro, or you merely invited us here to complain? Not complain, warn. This is about more than just a few disgruntled miners. Rumor has it that the RPP's picking up the cause. Since when are you worried about the Rizian People's Party, Mr. Montaro? I can better their situation in an instant. He's right to be worried. With Mana Saison in charge, the party could become a real threat. Not if we steer them in the right direction. If I'm right, they're about to propose a big new batch of workplace regulations, not just for RRG, but for everyone else. Will they make anyone safer? Doubtful. Will they be a death blow to our bottom line? 100%. How much revenue would RRG stand to lose? Hard to say. Implementing the regulations themselves would cost a pretty penny. And what do you think will happen if we pass those extra costs on to the trading partners? They'll hit the road faster than my first ex-wife. Elna raised her eyebrows. We've been seeing more global competition on the gold market, unfortunately, but for now our product is of high enough quality that Rumberg is willing to pay more for it. Yeah, I don't think Cherry looks like Peter Griffin. Nah. If the price rises further still, I'd rather not admit it, but Mr. Montaro may have a point. Don't get me wrong, Your Majesty, my personal finances will be just fine. It's your revenue stream I'm looking out for here. Aren't most RRG miners labor hands from foreign countries? Would the regulations even apply to them? They're fixing to have it that way, yes. The folks pushing for these regulations, are a mix of labor hands and honest-to-goodness Rizians, with some support from the Saisons to boot. I see what they're going for, I really do, but giving them everything they want would set a dangerous example. A little extreme, don't you think? I agree we shouldn't impose more regulations than necessary, but investing in safer and healthier employees could lead to profit in the long term, foreigners included. We still have the Miftian International Trade Zone, don't we? The rules wouldn't apply to them. Well, that's the other thing. Sure, RRG isn't a direct stakeholder in the trade zone, but we're involved enough to be highly worried about Alma Sultania. A millennialist, First Prime Minister Morella, a pioneer. Millennialist, a dangerous figure. That's right, Your Majesty. Women's never picked up a chisel in her life, and she suddenly knows how to run the midst. She started calling for regulation over there as well, or worse, nationalism. Nationalization. Morella doesn't have unilateral power over the international trade zone. Rizia, Lesbia, and Vogsland all have a say. And guess which one of those Miss Sultania has been cozying up to on the subject? If she and Hegel get their way, Rizia will either lose its mining rights, or our boys will have to pray to Meleniev before going to work every morning. No matter what, our revenue from the region takes a hit. And the CSP will claim another victory. The political aspect isn't as concerning to me as the loss of access to our most important mines. We have to keep a close eye on this. The company will rebound when we get Zeal back. We'll see about that, Your Majesty. 25 years ago, that little nub of land was home to some of the fattest gold veins in my company's ever found, but Nur knows what shape it's in now. Callus, on the other hand, is looking very promising. That survey of yours was a stroke of genius. That said, the more unnecessary requirements we have to meet the extract gold, the less of it you get to keep. Rusty took a big bite of the watermelon slice. He wiped the juice off his chin. Look, I won't press the issue any further. Just hope you'll do the right thing if this ever lands in your lap. Who knows? If all goes well, I might be persuaded to sell you back the share of Honorable King Valero sold me. Elena pushed her chair back and stood up. I'm gonna recuse myself from this part of the conversation. Where's the ladies' room? Just inside. If you've never sat on solid gold toilet, you're in for a treat. A valet escorted Elna out. Hugo, Rusty, and I glanced at each other. What do you think of all this, Hugo? I think our friend Rusty here is perilously close to overstepping his bounds. He let out a sigh, but cooperation with RRG served King Valero well in the past, even after selling part of the royal stake. I take it it's a positive sign that Mr. Montaro is open to renegotiating the stake, and I agree that overregulation of our industries would hamper businesses, while emboldening workers to a dangerous degree. You're a smart man, Your Grace. You and I should go out for beer someday. Hugo looked like he swallowed something unpleasant. Thoughts on breadsticks? Yummy! Yes, beers. I would enjoy that. Give me a hint, Your Majesty. Is the crown on our side? I'm not going to make any promises one way or the other. He nodded unperturbed. Fine and dandy, Your Majesty. And don't forget, you ever find yourself low on crown funds again, the Bank of Rusty is still open. Elna stepped back onto the terrace. That was colder than I expected. I hope I haven't missed much. Hugo practically sprang from his seat. It's been a delight, but we must be headed back to Port Trezon. And here I was about to ask you to stay for lunch. So soon, Your Majesty. Don't worry, you'll be hearing from me. Not if you hear from me first, eh? See you, Rusty. I could see him cheerfully waving from the veranda as Hugo, Elna, and I stepped back aboard the yacht. God in heaven, man. God in fucking heaven. What a bastard. Whew. Erdmark signals joining non-aligned movement. Oh, no, dude. The Kingdom of Erdmark announces a decisive pivot towards the non-aligned movement, marking a strategic diversification from its historical alignments. This move, seen as a bid to craft alternative geopolitical paths distinct from neighboring Rumber, challenges the prevailing influence of both Grace and the ATO. Coupled with the launch of an ambitious 10-year industrial development initiative, Erdmark's potential realignment could have far-reaching effects on the global stage, particularly by offering a third-way approach amidst the polarizing politics of larger alliances. Surveying nears completion on potentially massive new gas field in West Antician. A gas field in the western Antician Sea could contain massive new reserves, according to a geologist source interviewed by Geopolitico. The Kingdom of Rizia and the Grand Duchy of Pales are still surveying the border of this recently discovered field with conclusive ownership, still yet to be determined. However, all signs already point to a resource of great strategic significance. The international community has its eyes on this developing situation. Erdmark, right? Erdmark, I believe, is, yeah. Erdmark is, damn, tucked up right against Kingdom of Rumberg there, man. That's rough. The United States of Calrad City. Salme Mayor. A nourished Republic of Dardia. Montecala. Royal visit to Montecala. The House of Zaro governor. A royal visit. A royal visit. Ah, the royal visit. Damn. Alright, we're on turn 3, right? We're about to finish out turn 3. I think I'll call it after this last turn. Give Lucita permission to send intelligence operatives into Pales. Interesting. The formation of the map reminds me of a certain era. Which one? From anywhere in the city of Monteclar, you could look high into the hills and see the ruins of Fortress Azaro. Expanded and fortified over the centuries, it had served as a stronghold for the city's inhabitants from the early years of the Resonant Empire until its destruction in the War of Rizian Succession. Today, the ruins served as a symbol of Monteclar's resilience, and that of its governing house. Perhaps that was why Lucita had invited me here for a tour and private talk. For safety's sake, a wooden walkway had been constructed over the crumbling remains of the parapets. Lucita and I walked along it until we came to the northwestern corner. How do you like the view, Your Majesty? From here, we could look down into the valley where the provincial capital sprawled across the fast-flowing Alca River and up into the foothills of the mountains opposite of us. Hello, Jinx. I remember it well from my military days. I've come here as a child, as an army recruit, and as a duchess. It's always different, and always the same. The fortress was closed off for our visit, but a crowd had gathered just outside its walls. We waved down to them, then turned away, following the walkway towards the former armory. Our aides and guards stayed a respectable distance behind. Not even the Amarchians could destroy this place, you know. Only when Rizia's noble families turned against each other did it finally fall. She paused and turned to face me. It took years for the Azaro and Taurus families to repair their bond. I hope our houses will remain harmonious through your reign. Nothing means more to me than keeping the favor of House Azaro. It's great to hear you say that. Your father and mine were close, Your Majesty. General Tadeus told me that he felt to express his true opinions of the king with no fear of repercussions. Lucita bit her lip. She seemed uncharacteristically nervous. I'd like it if you and I had similar relationship. I want to have that relationship with all my counselors, Duchess. Nobody should feel like they have to hold back their opinions. Perfect, Your Majesty, thank you. She was smiling, but I registered slight disappointment in her eyes. Precisely your willingness to speak your mind that makes you such a valuable asset on the council. I'm pleased to hear that. She stared out at the surrounding mountains before turning back to me. So on the subject of speaking my mind, my house and I had questions regarding your recent meeting in Salivas. Sources say you were quite deep in conversation with House Sezon's heir. Speaking of repairing the bond between our houses, as you yourself said, Rizia can only be strong if all its royal families stand together. The Sezons were never a royal family, just a group of merchants who fancied themselves higher than their true station. There's a game about captchas coming up? That's funny. You know, the entire house is still suspected to have ties to Arcacia. That isn't surprising. Arcacia has eyes and ears everywhere. They and their allies have spent the entire better part of the century trying to undermine us. All the more reason not to trust that man around your daughter. Thank you for your advice. Perhaps I'll require assistance with this in the future. I'm just looking out for national security, as is my job. We had come to a small grassy patch in the shade of the fortress' southern wall. Lucita gestured for me to sit down. I had one more thing I wanted to bring up while we were alone. When I took over my father's position in the Royal Council, he gave me a trove of his old files. Wedged between the standard purchase orders and internal security reports, I found this. She reached into her pocket and unfolded a thin square of paper. On it was a map of Pales. Overlying the outline of the Grand Duchy were arrows, diagrams of tanks and battalions, and hastily scribbled instructions. Some of them were in my father's handwritings. Look at the date, 1949. So they were plotting another attempt on Pales. That's not surprising. Had this been attempted, it would have been a complete rout. All glory to King Valero, but perhaps it's fortunate that he died before this could be carried out. But yes, better he died rather than order more soldiers to their death. Then again, it's possible they never intended to execute this plan. It could have just been idle daydream. His dying wish was for me to take back the lands we lost, but I'm no conqueror. It's an outdated concept, invading territories based on centuries-old grudges. Of course, my family would disagree. My province never got over losing our access to the sea. But I don't see any merit in taking back Pales, at least not for historic reasons. I trust your guidance, Duchess, but if there's a reason you think we should go to war with Pales again, I want to know. She looked away. I don't want to sound paranoid, but with Lesbia's in ATO and Morella becoming closer to Vogg's land and the CSP, I do wonder whether our neighbor will get swallowed up in the superpower conflict. That's a legitimate worry. Look at what happened to Wayland in the 30s. Arcasia and United Catania nearly destroyed it by proxy in a rush to gain access to its oil. And now Pales may be sitting on an even more valuable resource. So you think we should conquer Pales for its own good? Conquer is such an old-fashioned word. Think of it as a chess game. Sometimes it's best to remove certain pieces from the board before it's too late. That doesn't mean I think we should attack Pales again. Using diplomacy to get them on our side would be a more effective tactic. I know that. I've been aiming for diplomacy this entire time. If we get into a dispute over the new gas field, it may be more difficult to stay the course. If you wanted me to, I could send a task force to Pales to monitor the situation more closely. I wouldn't even need extra funding. Your expansion of the Golden Guard has created a few redundancies in our intelligence division. Yeah. Do what you need to do. Thank you, Your Majesty. She began standing up. I appreciate you coming to me with all this. Please feel free to express your unfettered opinions to me in the future. You can count on it. It's nearly 4. Let me show you something. She gestured to the stone wall behind us. A metal ladder led to the top of the small watchtower, now the fortress' highest surviving structure. Lucita scaled it in a matter of seconds. Follow her. From this side, we could see Camp Domu, the country's largest military training facility. It stretched far into the distance, with hundreds of barracks clustered around grounds that simulated all types of terrain. We looked down into the main square. A platoon of some 50 soldiers, mostly men, but a few women as well, was preparing for an exercise. Remember the code? A drummer to the side of the square beat out a complex rhythm on a snare. Long, short, short, long. That's an inverted wedge, right? The soldiers snapped into a V-shaped formation, narrow at the back and widening toward the front. Can't believe it. Very impressive. Still the best trained soldiers in South Marcopa. Another rhythm came from the drum. 2 rim shots followed by a rapid roll. Extended lines spreading out into the herringbone. Almost unconsciously, she started moving along with the soldiers, but as she put her left foot down, the section of wall beneath it suddenly gave way. She began falling backward. Grab her arm. I grabbed her arm and pulled her toward me to safety. She looked up at me surprised, breathing heavily. Let go of her. I released my grip on her arm. She stepped back from me and brushed herself off. It seems old habits die hard. Thank you, Your Majesty. She swiftly climbed down and told the guards it was time to leave. Adequate Foreign Intelligence Service. Ain't that just, man? Ain't that just? I do indeed have an adequate foreign intelligence service. Let's see. I've invested in everything I can this turn. Oh, the gas field survey reaches completion. The Rizian surveyor ships sent to assess the boundaries of the Arias gas field have returned to Calicobedes. Reported their findings. They've discovered that at least half the field lies within a 200-kilometer radius of the island, giving Rizia a claim to it. Our foreign ministry has contacted Polesian Duke Axel Reinhardt. It is expected a meeting will be arranged to discuss these findings of our country's next steps. This is a big one, man. Swordland enters economic recession despite its efforts. The shadow of recession has descended upon Swordland, marking a period of economic strife under President Ewald Alfonso's leadership reminiscent of Tarquin Saul's post-Civil War era. Despite Alfonso's aggressive pursuit of growth via new trade deals, his strategies are beleaguered by entrenched political opposition and a global economic slowdown. With analysts split on the recession's longevity, the pressure mounts on Alfonso to navigate Swordland out of economic peril before the end of this term, an endeavor fraught with uncertainty and the specter of history's judgment. Indeed. I'm gonna hit the continue button and get the autosave, and then call it a night. That's Chapter 2, Between Seas. Turn 4. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. How's everything ticking up? Oh, water posts are already at half. I think those are... Yeah, it looks like the mining stuff is through. The Square's gas field is like 2 turns away from being done. I have no energy. But 17 budget and 13. 13 go crazy with it. Turn 4? Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Good night, Graham. Oh, I cannot wait for the 3rd country, man. I can't imagine where it's gonna be, but this is gonna be... I'm so excited for it. I hope it's Gomland. Everything looks like it takes place around the Antician Sea so far, though. I'm hoping for a more inward into Marcopa, but we'll see how that goes. We'll see. We'll see, man. We'll see how it sorts out. I'm hoping it gets done by the end of this year, though. Next song, next song, next song. Alright, everybody. That was Suzerain. I don't know what we're gonna be playing tomorrow. I don't think we've beaten any games recently, and I would like to switch up the schedule a little, because we've been doing the same schedule for the past, like, 3 weeks now, so... I do want to put Lunar Ascendancy. I have to put Esoteric Ebb on there, but we're getting there. I mean, slowly but surely. With that being said, I hope everybody has a good night. I will see everybody tomorrow. God of War 2, Cherry? Nah, no shot. Garden Warfare 2? Maybe. Maybe we'll do that. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not sure. I'll think about it. Yeah. That's a good suggestion. Bye, guys. Have a good night.